Hello, how are we, everybody? Hope you're all well in this miserable day in the UK. In Wales, it is pissing down with rain. It's horrible out here. It is not nice at all. Katie, holy memberships, yes, I'll go through them now. Batman Jesse said, yeah, I'm not streaming it because we got this trial, and it's not really. I mean, she's getting it, whatever. But also the whole thing with the attorneys and stuff, I'm just like, whatever. I'm done with that trial. I will record it and just put it in the playlist, but I'm not really that fussed about it. But I will record it at some point. Josie, hello. Oh my goodness, welcome to all the new members. Very clever members. Very clever. They figured it out. Hello, Christine. Hello to you, Christine. So we have got welcome. I said welcome to most of these yesterday. Hannibal, Ashley, Alan, um, Lisa, David, Donella, Warmbo, Donella. Welcome to Tori. Welcome to Jennifer. Welcome to Shari. Why am I talking Italian? Welcome to Daryl. Welcome to CJ. Obviously, there's some others as well, like Mikey Meat and stuff like that as well. So, welcome to you all. Lovely to see you all here. Thank you for becoming members. But I know why you became members. But thank you all. Thank you for that as well. Jessie was a bad girl. She was a very bad girl. Not in a good way, bad girl. In a bad way, bad girl. So she's going to get a book thrown at her. But I don't know what happens because the attorneys have said they will not speak today. So I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I'm not fussed anyway. Do you know what I mean? So because it's 1:30 European Eastern time. So whatever. I mean, we'll figure it out. I'm sure people. I'm sure Katie, you'll watch it. So people will watch it. But she's going to get. I mean, the book thrown at her. Do you know what I mean? She's found guilty on all counts. So we'll see. Christy Fortunato, good morning from the Mexicano, Josie. Bang bang, Josie's gang. Bang bang, Josie's gang. So Bosa, 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 Bosa. So here we go, another day, another 4 trials, another dollar, as they say. I'm still miffed from yesterday, but I'm more miffed now than I was. But it's a good day. It's a good day. Let me get the stream up then. The trial, I mean, sorry. I will be honest, I'm not really paying attention to the Marisela one, but do you know what? I will not lie to you, Josie. I'm not. The reason being, I had to get up at 6:30 this morning. I went to bed last night at 1:30. Got up at 6:30 this morning. Been traveling 2 hours away to see the dentist, who's my cousin, so I have to go there. Had all that. Came back. Literally, I came back 20 minutes ago. So set this up, get everything ready. That's all. So not. So my plan is to listen to it tomorrow morning, Josie. Because obviously, by the time I finish this, it's gonna be 1 o'clock, and so tomorrow morning I'm listening to it because I'm not one of those people that can listen on the go. I have to be like, right, I need to concentrate now. So I'm really excited to look to listen to it. Just I have to do it justice. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be doing you and everybody else justice by just listening, you know, like now during what's trials on. So I promise you, tomorrow morning I will be listening because tonight's just too late. Do you know what I mean? By the time I finish tonight, but I'm super super excited for it. I hope you're getting loads of views and stuff like that. Yeah, I saw it on the YouTube page yesterday. I saw it. So don't you worry, it's there ready for me. So as you know me, Josie, I saw Rosie underneath. That's why I call you Rosie. I don't lie. So I'm not going to be sitting here going, "Oh, it's the best thing ever." I'm sure it is the best thing ever. But I'm super excited, and I'm sure you will put a link into it below. So everyone who has not listened to it, Katie, Rosie, Christine, everybody, you need to go and listen to this podcast that Josie put together with some of her friends about Zachariah, the Wrongful podcast. Link Josie will put the link in at some point. Now, please, please, please go and support Josie when you get a chance as well, if you haven't done so already. So that's my tomorrow morning. We'll be listening to that, and then we've got the stream. We've not got the Kariga trial tomorrow. We're probably going to have to do 2 days worth of streams for this trial, the Botello trial. Good morning, Rosie. Hello, welcome back to you, Rosie. Hope you are well. Lovely to see you because it's lovely to see people return. Where are you from, Rosie, by the way? Not your address. I mean, what county? Where are you from? Kentucky, Ohio? Whereabouts are you from? Because I presume you're from America. So um, I always like to see where people are from, like what part of the world and stuff. Morning, Rosie from Katie, and then good morning, Katie. Let me just get this up. New Hampshire. Okay. So the Patriots fan, yeah. Rosie is a Patriots fan. That's fine. We won't hold that against her. Boston Bruins, and also Karen Reid. I'm sure you're into Karen Reid, so we'll be hopefully covering that as well. Where's this gone? Here she is. She disappeared. Josie, you disappeared. I was giving you a plug. I don't remember what it is. Wrong full dot what. So I didn't want to put the wrong address up. I need to get it up here. Here she is. Nunya's in the house. Nunya. Nunya, Nunya. Nunya's in the house. Hey Josie, New Hampshire. So yeah, that's I know like Foxborough, Mansfield, Boston, obviously. Then what's next to Boston? Oh, I don't remember the nearest city to Boston. Oh, it's a nice place, but I don't remember the name of it now. Damn you. Oh, slipping me. Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. Hello, Shauna. Hello, Shauna. How are you, my darling? Lovely to see you. I know you're okay because we got Mexi. She tells us all about you. Um, so we always know you're uh, around. So that's good. So welcome, Shauna. Stranger you. Morning, Nunya. Morning, Katie. Right. I've given this a plug, so I need to put this up. There, she's done it. Happy day. New podcast talk about Zachary Anderson trial, wrongfulpod.com. So you can listen to it on YouTube, Spotify, all those kind of things. Please go and support it because our very own Josie is a big part of it, and you know how much I love this case as well, and how much I want to support them as well. And if you can't support financially, which is understandable, then things like this really help. So help the girls out. I think it's about 44 minutes. I think the podcast is, I believe. So I'm super excited to listen to it tomorrow. And yeah, so please go and listen to it. Subscribe to wherever platform you're using. Subscribe to them on YouTube as well, please. And yeah, let's support Zach. Um, help along with sweetie. Oh, thank you, Shauna. You're much nicer to me than what Mexi is. Mexi normally shouts at me, so you're much nicer to me. Shauna. Right, should we get started? With 2 more minutes, we'll get started. So we've got this Marisela Botello, day 2. So tomorrow it's likely that today's day 3, obviously. So tomorrow I'm likely to do day 3 and day 4. Um, don't know. I'm not sure Judge Doro thinks Jesse's good. I don't know. Well, I mean, I can't play it because I got this trial now. So see you all back in a bit. Okay, no worries. Someone's been searching me 24 times this week. Make sure to follow on social media. Please, yeah, all my socials are there. What Josie's put there. Please do follow. Please like this video as well. Or people have, to be fair, most people have. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. We picked up a load of channels. Why is it? It's not on now, is it? The Doro one's not on now, is it? I don't know. Anyway, let's get going with this trial then, otherwise we'll be here all day. Need to get going with it because we've got to get going with it because we've got another trial to go. Don't worry, Sean, it's all good. Most people are there for this time. It's all good. Here we go.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I
You
do.
may proceed. Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you. Ma'am, can you state your name and spell your name for the court, please?
My name is Kathy DeLeon, Kathyde, capital Leon.
And Ms. De Leon, can you just tell the jury a little bit about what you do for a living, and, a little bit about yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a hairdresser. I've been doing hair for probably over 35 years. Color specialist. I actually do people from all walks of life. I've done attorneys, I've done doctors, dentists, anywhere from A to Z. I may have a preacher's wife in my chair, and then I may turn around and have a stripper in my chair. So, the facets that I go through in my business is, it's quite amazing. So.
You said you've been doing this for about 30 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it fair to say that when you have a client that you have seen over the course of several years, that client generally becomes pretty comfortable talking to you?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I would hate for my hairdresser to ever be called to talk about me or anything else like that. You kind of get all the secrets and all the things.
I do. People are very kind of interesting. They're very open when they come to see you. It's kind of like we're their psychiatrist, They really lean on us for a lot. They do tell us a lot of things that they may not even tell their family. So, most of the things that my clients tell me, I do, kind of take it, it's a very personal thing to me. I'm very close to my clients. I've been doing a lot of clients for as long as I've been doing hair. So, I do have clients who are like family to me. I don't really take my stories home. I'm sure it'd get very boring to my husband to hear, like all the different stories that a client may tell me.
Now, one of those clients that you saw for years was Miss Lisa Dykes. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall when you started
Hi, hands.
seeing Miss Dykes?
Early 2016.
And she was referred to you by another client, is that correct?
Yes, she was referred to me by a longtime client of mine who worked in the same building she did. I believe they worked on the same floor. And they became, I guess they were acquaintances. They'd see each other like on the floor and say hi and whatnot. And Lisa inquired to her. She said, your hair always looks amazing. Who do you go to? So she gave her my information. She says, well, she may be far for you to go. And so she asked where I worked. And she was like, oh my gosh, I live right by there. If you can give me her number, I'd love to get in contact with her. So.
And you started seeing her, you said, in 2016, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And this morning you provided me with a couple of just printouts of schedules, because you all had kind of a scheduling system on the computer, is that right?
Yes.
Here are my approach to witness. Ms. Daly, I'm just going to hand you what's been marked States Exhibits 81 and 82.
Hi, Chris. Mwah. Lovely to see you, Chris. Good morning to you. Hope you're well.
Does this look like a fair and accurate representation of those two printouts that you sent me this morning?
It is.
Your Honor, state moves to offer 81 and 82 for all purposes.
You can take your vote in turn.
Your Honor, I'm going to object first on relevance, and second, I'm objecting. You can't tell on here who the client is. I don't see who the client is. I see a list of dates, but I don't see the client.
Your objection is relevant. The state at this time is relevant. You would like, right? She has one of your exhibits, I believe. That's a copy.
I'm sorry.
Are those her copies?
No, she's got her copy. Okay. These are. And Ms. De Leon, Ms. Dykes' name is not on here, but are you aware you pulled this from your computer?
Yeah, so the way we had the computer set up at work, it would go through we would punch in our client's name, and then it'd go to a second page, and it would have like a list of like all the services that we would do to that particular client, and that's what you see there.
And one of the purposes of this is going to kind of help you refresh your recollection of the various conversations you had with Ms. Dykes over the years.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would offer states 81 and 82 again for all purposes.
Same objection on relevancy. If she needs it to refresh her memory, then at that time, the document can be presented to her. But until we see that there's some faulty memory going on, then
I don't necessarily need to have it.
Hold on. You have to wait for someone to ask you a question. Thank you.
Judge, we can just offer it for regular purposes. At this time.
All right, is there any objection to being offered for record purposes?
no, Your Honor.
All right, states exhibits 81 and 82 are admitted for record purposes only at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. De Leon, you just mentioned that you probably don't need it. If for any reason you needed to refresh your recollection, just let me know and I can present that to you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So we talked about you met in 2006. She was referred to you by one of your clients. And when you first met her and did her hair the first time, was she pleased with her service?
She was.
In fact, she continued seeing you until she moved from the Dallas area in, I believe, October of 2020. Is that correct?
Yes.
When do you recall was the last appointment that you had where she actually came and saw you?
October 10th, 2020.
2022?
2000, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, did you say 2020 or 2020 or 2022? I may have misheard you.
All I know, it was right when this girl went missing was the last time that I saw her.
Okay, so that was in 2020.
Yes,
Okay, sorry. Are you a little bit nervous?
just a little bit.
Okay. Now, when you first saw Ms. Dykes as a client, how did she present herself? How was she dressed?
She was dressed very conservatively. She worked for an attorney in Dallas. She had long hair. At the time I started doing it, it was just like highlights in her hair. Very nice person. We got along really well. So.
And did you learn a little bit about her family makeup at that time?
I did. She talked about her kids quite a bit. She had grown kids, a son. She had family that lived in Florida. She had her daughter Chelsea, who ended up also being a client of mine. I actually started doing Lisa first, and then soon after she would bring Chelsea with her, and then I started doing both of their hair. So they come in at the same time.
And you mentioned she had some family in Florida, and then she had Chelsea and her son here in Texas with her.
Yes.
Okay. And were you? Did you learn that they lived in the Mesquite area?
I wasn't sure where Kyle lived, but from what I understand, Chelsea lived with her.
Okay. And you mentioned Kyle. Kyle's one of her sons. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did she ever talk about her other son?
Not often.
Okay. Did you know whether or not her other son, Aaron, lived with her?
I know she really didn't mention him as often as she did Kyle.
And as far as Kyle's concerned, did you have any idea whether or not Kyle lived with her? Or...
I did not.
Okay, but Chelsea did live with her.
She did, from what I understand.
Okay, did she ever talk about her brother Jimmy?
If it's the brother that lived in Florida, then she probably maybe mentioned him in a conversation or two, but not very often.
Not very often. Okay. And in the beginning, you said that she generally dressed very conservatively.
Yeah, when she'd come in to see me, it was usually on a Saturday. So she always, dressed like casual, pretty much.
Did she have revealing clothes? Did it kind of, and I hate to be like this, but almost age appropriate for her at that time? Or kind of just describe the type of conservative clothes that she wore.
Well, she'd usually come like in jeans. She'd always wear, like t-shirts when she'd come in. She kind of like concert-y type t-shirts. So, but I mean, most people dress like that on Saturday. So, it wasn't.
I'm sorry. You mentioned her daughter Chelsea would come and have her hair done as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And did they seem like they were very close?
They were. Chelsea was quiet. I would say introverted. She was a real sweet girl. Didn't talk very much. I think the only time that I could really get her to engage was when she would talk about her dog. But other than that, she really was pretty quiet.
Aaron, may I approach the witness again?
You may.
And permission to continue to purge throughout her testimony.
Sure.
Ms. De Leon, I'm gonna hand you what's been marked State's Exhibit 83. Do you recognize that photo?
That's Lisa and Chelsea.
Okay, and is that a fair and accurate representation of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Our state offers State's 83 for all purposes.
No objection.
All right, State Exhibit 83 is admitted for all purposes.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm trying not to make it obvious, but please press that join button and become a member for access to all videos of this channel.
Well, it takes a minute to warm up. So if you could-
That's not obvious at all, is it?
Thank you.
Oh, there we go. And just, I mean, this is just a picture of them, kind of around the time that you were doing both their hairs.
Yes,
Was this, you learned at some point that Chelsea moved from Texas, is that correct?
I did.
Okay, is this closer to the time frame when she moved, or do you recall?
Well, I had already, probably because, Lisa's hair is really short there. So,
And let's kind of talk about that. Over the course, this started, your client relationship with her started in 2016. Was there a time over the course of that relationship that she started talking about a man by the name of Charles Beltran?
yes.
And do you recall about what year that was?
Guessing maybe 2018-ish.
2018-ish?
Mhm.
And that's just kind of a guess.
Yes.
Okay. Did she tell you how she and Charles met?
She came in one morning and basically said that she had met a guy named Chuck. The first couple of times that she talked about him, she kind of mentioned, kind of laughingly, like it was her boy toy. And then after a couple of visits, she continued talking about him. And so I was like, hey, so what is the deal with this guy? Tell me about him. I was like, she's talked about other guys in the past, but, just kind of like, I'm going out with this person or that person, but it was never like anything, like more than like a time or two that she talked about that person. But with Chuck, she talked about him for, several visits. So I finally asked her, I was like, so tell me about this guy. And she was like, well, he's a lot younger than I am. He works with my son. And I was like, well, Lisa, I was like, that doesn't seem, like kind of like what you're used to dating, a much younger guy, someone who, not to say that, someone who works at a bar is like less than anyone else, but, I just kind of expected her to date someone more on her, I guess, like level, I guess.
Okay, so more like her,
Yes,
a professional,
yes,
maybe more in her age range.
right,
And the description of Chuck was that he was a much younger man, and she had met him through her son where he worked at this bar. Is that
correct.
about right? Okay. And she talked about him frequently. Is that correct?
She did,
It seems like she really liked him.
yes,
Okay. It seemed like she was pretty infatuated with him.
yes,
And you kind of mentioned that, you kind of thought that to be odd.
yes. I mean, when she met Chuck, she kind of started changing. She came in one day, and of course, she had like longer blonde hair. I always did highlights in her hair, and she comes in one day and she's like, "Hey, I'm ready to do something completely different." And I was like, "Okay, well, to most people, to most hairdressers, doing something different is like we're gonna put some lights in their hair, But she wanted me to completely shave the sides of her head and do like a pompadour. So if y'all don't know what a pompadour is, it's basically shaved all around the sides. You have the top that's longer, quite a bit longer. And you can either pull it all back, you can like wear it to the side, which it kind of looks like the picture that you just saw. She had it kind of just down and it was just to the side. But when she was at work, she always just kind of like wore it like up, to where it just looked like different than that. There are other pictures of her where she has it more like in a pompadour. But I asked her, I was like, how are you going to get away with that at work? I mean, you know, that seems a little inappropriate to do that. She was like, oh, it's okay, you know, it'll be fine. So I thought that that was like really interesting that she would go from like wearing this beautiful long blonde hair to, you know, almost having no hair at all.
Did she also have it colored in a different way?
Yes. So when I ended up doing the pompadour on her, she ended up going complete platinum at that time. So, and then occasionally she would, you know, like get a wild hair, no pun intended, but she would like want me to do like maybe a little streak of like a light pink or like a baby blue, but never anything like just outrageously crazy, you know.
And when you, this all kind of aligned when she started hanging out and talking about Chuck, is that correct?
Yes.
During that time period, did you know that Chelsea still lived with her?
Yes.
Okay, and also her son Aaron, is that correct? Or-
I'm not sure about Aaron.
Okay.
She really didn't talk about him too often.
Okay, you definitely knew that Chelsea still lived.
I did.
Now.
Bye, John.
She did.
How was she dressed?
So when she ended up with Chuck, she started getting a lot of tattoos. You know, and when she'd come in, she would start one sleeve, and then, you know, I'd see her like, you know, like several visits later, and she started another sleeve, and I would always ask her, why are you doing this? How are you going to get away with this at work? I mean, you've got a conservative job. You know, and she was just like, oh, well, you know, I could just wear long sleeves, you know. She did start dressing, like she loved showing her tattoos off. So she would always come in like with like, I guess like thinner t-shirty material type shirts. They were always short sleeve because she loved showing her tattoos off. So even if it was like really cold outside, she'd wear a jacket in, but then she'd always take her jacket off. She loved her tattoos. And, you know, I mean, I'm not into tattoos, but, you know, to each his own. I know one day she came in and she kind of grabbed me by the arm. She was like, hey, come to the bathroom with me. I want to show you something. And I was like, okay. So she kind of lifts up the back of her shirt and she's got a tattoo, you know, and I was like, oh my God, Lisa, what are you doing? I mean,
Where was this particular tattoo?
on her back,
On her back. Okay, was it large?
from what I recall.
So we're not talking about just a little, you know,
No.
tattoo. We're talking about full sleeves.
Yes.
Large tattoos on her back, and this just from your time and being her
Yes.
hairdresser. so
Yes.
completely
And then she also,
just make sure that we don't talk over each other.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. She just has to take everything down. She can't take it at the same time. But completely out of what you expected based on your experience with her.
Yes. She also, come to think about it, came in one day and she had these little gold, they're like little dots, like across the top of her, but they were like on her teeth. And I was like, what is that? And she was like, you know, she just kind of laughed. She goes, well, don't you like it? And I was like, well, no, not really. You know, but, you know, I mean, I just thought that it was all very odd that she, you know, and I guess it was to impress him. I mean, he was a much younger guy.
Objection, Your Honor, calling for speculation as in the court to instruct the jury to disregard the last statement.
Sustained, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are instructed to disregard the last answer by the witness and not consider it for any purpose whatsoever.
And Ms. De Leon, all of this started after she met Chuck. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, do you recall a time, kind of during this time period when she's changing her hair and she's changing, you know, kind of getting these tattoos, that she came in to an appointment with Chelsea?
Yes, ma'am.
And were the two of them both having their hair done?
They were.
And kind of tell me a little bit about, you know, that appointment that day. You know, you said that Chelsea was quiet. Did she say much that day?
Not really. I mean, this day, I actually did Chelsea's hair first. I typically would always do Lisa's hair because it took a little bit longer for me to do her hair. But this particular day, I ended up doing Chelsea first, and the area that I worked in, it was like my chair was here, my client sat here, my mirror was here, and then I had a dryer that was right behind me. So it's like my clients had access, you know, because I did do like a lot of highlights, so I had access to a dryer that sat right behind me. So I finished doing Chelsea's hair, got her into the dryer, started doing Lisa's hair, and
And let me just stop you right there. So Chelsea is within earshot of this conversation.
yes, I mean, literally, she's like 2 steps back.
Okay. And what did Lisa say to you?
So as we started talking, she kind of looks back at Chelsea. She goes, "Hey, Chelsea," she goes, "Do you want to tell Kat the news or do you want me to?" And, you know, she just kind of lifted the dryer. She goes, "Well, I guess you can." And so Lisa,
What was the news?
Lisa proceeds to tell me that Chelsea's moving to Florida. And I was like, "What?" It's like, you and Chelsea are so close. And I was like, "Why?" And she says, "Well," she goes, "I'm ready to live the life that I want, and I can't do it with her here."
And she said that in front of Chelsea,
Yes,
and Chelsea heard her.
she did.
Did she tell you where Chelsea was going to move?
She was moving to Florida, where Lisa's brother was.
Now, you said that she told Chelsea, or told you that I'm ready to live the life that I want to live, and I can't do it with her here. Did she say anything else?
Yeah, she just went on to tell me that, you know, because I was like just so shocked about it. And she went on to tell me, she said, "Well, you know, Chelsea worked at, I don't know if it's like Disney World, Disneyland, I don't know what it is, in Florida. But she said she has friends there. She really doesn't have friends here. So to go back, you know, to be where her friends are, it'd probably be better for her anyway." I just still thought that it was very strange because, you know, she and Chelsea always seemed to be like so close. I can't imagine that she would, you know, like literally like move her to start living this new life with this guy, Chuck.
At that time, did she tell you, did you learn that Chuck was going to move in with her?
Yeah, she did. She actually told me, you know, several visits later that Chuck was going to move in with her.
And did you learn that she was, you know, buying Chuck things, paying for things?
Yeah, so she, after she moved him in, she came in one day and told me that she was buying him a lot of equipment because he wanted to become a rapper. So, you know, so, and from what she told me, it was like high dollar equipment. And I do recall seeing it there when I went to her house one day. It was like in her little sunroom area.
And when she initially talked about Chuck, did she talk at all about his rap career, or was it later when you learned that she had bought him this equipment?
I really didn't know until she told me about the equipment that, you know, he was going to become a rapper.
So initially it just seemed like this was a romantic situation for him.
Yes.
And, you know, what did you think about this change in Lisa and this new young guy and buying the rap equipment? What was going through your mind about that?
I just thought it was so odd, you know, because, you know, I mean, we're talking, it was just like 2016. She was a completely different person. You know, she's just like morphing into somebody that, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just so bizarre. You know, the whole time though.
Objection, Your Honor.
You have to wait until you're asked a question.
And sorry about the pause. Ms. De Leon, I'm going to hand you what's been marked State's Exhibit 84. Do you recognize all these photographs?
Yes.
And these are photographs you provided me.
Yes, ma'am.
Are these fair and accurate representations of Ms. Dykes?
Yes.
Your Honor, move to admit State's 84 for all purposes. Tennessee Defense Counsel.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit, excuse me, number 84 is admitted for all purposes.
Permission to publish, Your Honor. Ms. De Leon, is this kind of the, I guess, transition that you were talking about, or the big change in Ms. Dykes, where this is more around 2016?
Yes.
And this is more around kind of the end time that you all had this client relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And obviously the makeup here is very muted, long hair, like you mentioned, conservative dress. And over the course of these several pictures, you see, you know, kind of bright makeup, more dramatic makeup, tattoos, different clothing styles.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this particular picture here, do you recall when that was taken?
Which one?
This one right here, I'm sorry, with the cowboy hat.
I don't quite recall, but that is, like during the time that her hair was like obviously shaved.
And this transition kind of started in 2016 and it continued throughout. You mentioned that she had started talking about Chuck, buying him things. He had moved in after Chelsea left.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a time that she started talking about a woman by the name of Nina Morano?
Yes.
Okay, and who was Nina Morano to her?
She initially had an appointment with me and asked if I could do her like a week earlier. She was going to be going out of town to visit an old friend of hers.
Your Honor, I'm gonna object, non-responsive. Counsel asked what or who she was, and Mrs. Daly was going into a monologue.
Sustained.
Thank you.
How did you learn about Nina Morano?
Through Lisa just mentioning her.
Okay, and you said you had an appointment with her, and she changed that appointment. What was the reason she changed that appointment?
She was going to go out of town to see Nina,
And at that time, how did she, I guess, categorize Nina?
an old friend of hers.
Do you recall about what time frame, maybe month and year, that she started mentioning Nina?
It was probably before October 2019, and I do recall that because I had Lisa had asked me to do her makeup for a Halloween party
Okay.
that she was having at work.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Did you usually do her makeup?
I never did her makeup.
And you said in October 2019, she asked you to do a Halloween makeup for a party. Is that
She
correct?
did.
And did you do that in your regular studio, or did you go to her house at that time?
Initially, when she called and asked me to do it, I told her then, I said, look, it's been a long time since I've done theatrical makeup. And she says, look, I don't want anyone else touching me but you. She says, I trust you. And she, was very adamant about me doing it. So I told her, I said, look, this is what we're going to do. Send me a picture of what you want. You buy the makeup because I don't have makeup for stuff like that. And let's make an appointment. I'll do like a mock trial. And if you don't like it, then I'll help you find someone that will do it for you.
So you went to her house to do this mock trial?
No, initially we did that at the salon.
Okay.
And then when she saw what the results were, she actually ended up loving it. And then she wanted to make the appointment for me to do the makeup the day of the party that I guess it was her law firm that was hosting this party. And so she wanted to do it like around 6 o'clock. And I told her, I was like, well, we close at 5. She says, well, why don't you just come to my house? So we made arrangements to do that.
And Ms. De Leon, I'm handing you Ms. Mark States Exhibit 85. Is that a picture of you applying for makeup?
This was the mock trial that I did at work.
Okay.
Yes.
Your Honor, State Officer States 85 for all purposes, tendering to defense counsel.
No objection.
All right, so exhibit 85 is admitted for all purposes.
And you said this is the trial run. Was this pretty much the same makeup that you did for her for the party?
Yes, ma'am.
And that appears to kind of be a skeleton face, is that correct?
When she initially showed me what she wanted me to do, I'm not really sure the name of it, but it's like Day of the
Is it the Day of the Dead?
Dead, but it's the woman who wears like the big roses. But I didn't know that it was gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be like a pretty Day of the Dead. I didn't think it was gonna be like, like a skeleton. But
Okay. So I do want to talk about your visit to her house. Were you able to meet Mr. Beltran when you went to her house?
that was the first time that I met Chuck. He was the one that opened the door.
And just based on physical appearances, kind of what did Chuck look like?
He was young. He wore the gauges in his ears. He was tattooed up. Nice guy though. I mean, when he answered or when he opened the door, he introduced himself that he was Chuck. And I introduced myself. He says, I know all about you. He said, you're the end all be all with Lisa. There's no one better than you in her book. And so I was like, oh, thanks. Where's she at? So
So that it was a brief brief discussion, a brief talk with Chuck.
It
but
was,
He was nice, respectful.
yes.
Based on, I guess, his tattoos and everything, did you expect him to sound and talk differently?
Kind of, but I mean, he was pleasant enough.
Now, after doing the makeup for the party, you said this was a work party, is that correct?
It was,
And was this going to take place at her son's bar? Or
I
did-
believe so.
Makeup turned out well. Was she happy with it?
She was very happy with it.
After that, you had another appointment with her, is that correct?
Are you referring to the second time I went to her house? or-
No, I'm talking about when she started talking about Nina.
Oh, yes,
Okay. And so this appointment was October 2019, and then it was after that appointment that she started discussing Nina, is that correct?
yes,
And the first time she discussed her, it was, she's my friend and she was going to see her.
Yes.
Is that fair? In the coming appointments, did you have more discussions with her about Nina?
yeah, it ended up being that, that after she mentioned Nina the first time, the next visits that I had with her, she only talked about Nina, like she was gonna fly here to see Nina, and Nina was coming in town. You know, it was just like, everything was about Nina. So,
Did you learn anything about Nina, kind of her background, if she was married, what was going on with her through Lisa?
yeah, she did tell me that Nina was married to a man named Bill. She did tell me that he was much older than her. She told me that the religion that he was in was like super strict. She mentioned that they always wore like this long, I guess it's like a long straight garment underneath their clothes. So.
And at some point during these discussions, did you just flat out ask her what was really going on there?
I did. After her not talking about Chuck, obviously it was all about her and Nina. So one day she came in and she told me that Nina was coming in town. And I was like, okay, so all you're talking about is Nina. Are y'all together? And she goes, well, yeah. And I was like, yeah, but girl, you're not into women. She goes, yeah, but Nina can give me everything that I've ever wanted.
And what does she mean by give me everything that I've ever wanted?
What's that? Hello, John. Hi, John again.
Well, I knew that Nina was an attorney. From what I knew, her and Bill had several homes, so I would kind of take it that they were probably well-to-do.
Did you know if Bill was still alive at that time?
I did.
Did you ever learn of his passing?
I did.
When did you learn of his passing?
In December 2019.
So when she first started talking about Nina, Bill was still alive.
He was,
And then you learned of his passing a couple months after she first started talking about Nina.
yes.
And give me just a minute, Ms. Daly. Thank you for your patience. What did you learn about his passing?
So on her visit in December, she and I were having our regular conversations. And at this point, it was kind of like her, Chuck, and Nina. They kind of had this threesome kind of thing going on.
And this is from Lisa. You're not just surmising this.
No.
It's Lisa telling you this.
Yes.
And how does she kind of describe
Describe.
this relationship between the three of them?
Well, when we going back to what I just referred to, the conversation that she and I had about her and Nina being a couple. So I asked her, I said, hey, I was like, well, so, but you're not into women. And when she replies, yeah, but she can give me everything I want. And I was like, well, so what about Chuck? I was like, you've not mentioned Chuck in quite some time. And she says, well, I told Nina Chuck's not going anywhere. So I kind of took it that.
So you kind of took that as she
Yeah,
still has a relationship with Chuck, and she has a relationship with Nina, and that's kind of the information you're getting.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that Nina, this is from Lisa, you know, practiced this fairly strict religion with her husband Bill. How did that change according to, and you talked about the dress, the long straight garments under her clothes and things like that. I guess how, based on what Lisa told you, how did she kind of influence Nina going forward?
So when you,
Objection, Your Honor, relevance. What relevance?
Your Honor, may I respond to the relevance?
You may.
This, we talked about an opening statement, and as did defense, kind of opened the door to the nature of this relationship where the state had described it as a romantic between the three of them, and the defense had discussed that this was just Miss Dykes investing in Chuck's rap career, and to lay out the state's case of motive, and particularly for Lisa, we need to lay out the nature of the relationship between all the parties.
You see the attorneys?
Yes.
Hi, Sherry. You got said last week up Prince Jonathan, puppy for Snickers. There we are. Jonathan's the one that wanted me to stream this. Jonathan.
That this was just Miss Dykes investing in Chuck's rap career, and to lay out you about taking Nina shopping.
yes,
Strict religion. Finally, all of his irrelevance. Glad I can be objecting in this trials. Well, we can't see it the sidebar, but the judge is not convinced. No, Dan Nabbit. Dan Nabbit. So much for that. I spoke too soon. Yes. Don't like that I can't hear the sidebar. Who hits? Yeah, I'm trying to steamroll through it. Oops. We go.
And told you about taking Nina shopping.
yes.
And did she tell you what they went shopping for?
They would go to Victoria's Secret and buy things.
Things like lingerie,
Yes,
sexy bras, underwear.
yes.
And did Lisa tell you that Nina had never had those types of things?
Not while she was around Bill.
Now, in the beginning of 2020, that's kind of when the pandemic hit, were you still able to see Lisa as a client?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you still able to see her? How long was it before your actual salon was shut down?
So when COVID started, I guess they started talking about it like late February. And our industry was probably one of the last ones to be shut down. So I got a phone call from Lisa saying that she was really needing to get her hair done because she didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last, and she didn't want messed up hair during that time.
And were you
So-
able to get her in for that last appointment before you shut down?
Yes, she came to the salon and I did her hair.
And in that appointment, did she say much about what's going on with Chuck and Nina, or was it discussion about it?
No, I mean, at the time, they, can I back up to December?
Well, go ahead and finish answering that question and we can back up.
She had told me that, that she and Nina were planning on getting married. She didn't know if they were gonna have it up in, the New York area where one of their homes were. She said that if they had it up there, she was gonna fly me up there to do her hair for the wedding. But they weren't sure, flights and whatnot, if that was gonna happen. There was a chance that they were gonna have the wedding at Lisa's house in Mesquite.
And after that appointment, is that when kind of COVID shut your salon down?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you receive a call from Lisa about doing her hair?
I did.
And
She had called and asked me if I would go to her home to do her hair because she and Nina were going to get married. The wedding was going to be at her house in Mesquite. And so I basically, tried to follow protocol and asked her if she'd been only working from home, if she'd been going to the office. After she said she was solely working from home, I told her that I would go and do her hair. I mean, I actually had like other clients who were having wedding photos done during that time, and I obliged to do those people and those people only. So,
And this appointment took place in her home, is that correct?
It did.
Did you have the chance at that appointment to meet Mr. Beltran again?
Yes, I did.
And tell me about when you saw Mr. Beltran.
That's your comment. And I wrote back saying, damn, Marion. Damn, Marion, I said. I don't see any other comment from you, Erin. That was your last comment. Until see you then.
On that occasion.
So when I arrived to Lisa's house, she answered the door, and I literally could smell this amazing aroma coming, from inside of her home. And so she opens the door, lets me in, and she's like, "Hey," she goes, "Come on to the kitchen. I want to hurry up and get dinner finished for Chuck. He'll be here in a little bit." She was like, "Have you eaten?" And I was like, "Well, no, not really." I was like, "But give me whatever you're cooking. It smells amazing." So she had made fried catfish, and I grabbed a plate. I sat down, was eating. She and I chatted, and then the door opens, and Chuck and another gentleman walk in. She proceeds to hand them plates, and she's like getting their plates done. They sit down where I was, and I immediately was like very uncomfortable.
Okay, and were you just uncomfortable because you didn't know them? Why were you uncomfortable?
I remember Chuck, and of course Lisa reintroduced us to each other, and of course Chuck was like, he said something to the fact of the Queen of Hair. Yes, I do remember you, basically. And he was kind, yeah. The other gentleman really didn't say anything.
So just kind of awkward.
It was very awkward.
And at that point, you went into her room and you could do her hair there. Is that correct?
Yes, we were going to go into her bedroom and do her hair, and it's obviously where I'd done her makeup, the October before.
Okay, now let's stop you right there. You're on mute.
So, Erin, I'll highlight them now. So, I got a comment from you saying, uncalled for, Dylan. I was in the giving mood, but not more. And I said back, damn, Erin. Then the next ones from you was saying, all right, see you then. Me saying, why? You ignored my comment. No, I didn't. I wrote back in chat. Did you see that one? Post it again. Nope. And here we are. I haven't seen any other comment from him. And I got live chat on. I don't see anything.
Ms. De Leon, did Miss Dykes have you go into her closet to see her wedding dress?
So, yeah, after I put her bleach on her hair, we were just kind of chatting. She was like, "Hey," she goes, "You want to look at my wedding dress?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So we go out of her bathroom, and to the right, there's a long, narrow closet. And so she goes in the closet, and I just kind of like leaned over, like in the doorway, just kind of watching her. It's kind of like this, leaning up against it. And I see her walk to the back. She pulls out two garments that were on the right side, and she turns around. She goes like this. She goes, "Well, which one do you like better?" And I kind of laughed. I said, "Why would I think that you would have a black dress?"
Okay, so she had picked out a black dress for the wedding.
Yeah, she actually had two dresses, and she asked me which one I like best, and I said, "Well, I really like this one." I said, "But it's like so low cut." And she goes, "Yeah, I know. I'll probably pin it."
And when you were walking out of that closet, what did you see?
I agree,
So
Chris.
as I turn around, like literally like straight across from me, when I turn around out of the closet, I see an altar, and it had this big statue thing that to me resembled like a Grim Reaper. And I completely like freaked out. I didn't want to like show how scared I was, but I just like froze when I saw it. And so, she bumps into me. She's like, "Kat, what are you doing?" And I was like, I'm like looking back at her, and I'm looking at this thing, and I don't know what to say. And
So what did you say?
and so I was like, she goes, "What's wrong?" And I was like, and I pointed at her, I was like, "Are you into witchcraft?" And she goes, "Well, I dabbled in it." And I, just trying to get myself out of like not sounding scared or not wanting to say anything dumb. I just said, "Well, okay, girl, to each his own." just don't put a spell on me. I was like, come on, we need to like get your hair, shampooed out. And I just literally was like so afraid. I just wanted to get out of there as soon as I could. She'd never ever mentioned anything about this witchcrafty kind of thing ever in all the times that she and I had spoken.
It definitely had a profound effect on you. You were pretty scared.
Yes,
And was that the last time you ever went to her house?
it was.
This was still kind of during the restrictions of COVID. When did your kind of salon open back up?
So we were out of work a couple of months. As soon as we were able to open back up, she obviously called for an appointment. I got her in, and
Did she talk about Nina or Chuck during that appointment?
she did.
What did she tell you?
She basically mentioned, in part of our conversation, she told me that she and Nina had were in a conversation, and Nina had asked her what her favorite car was. And she replies, she goes, well, I know what my favorite car is, but I've never been able to afford it. And so she was like, so Nina ended up getting me my dream car.
And what was that dream car?
I was getting confused. Maserati?
A Maserati?
She told me it was black. She told me it had red seats. And she told me, she goes, yeah, I really like the car. She says, but it had red seats and I cannot stand the red seats. So I told Nina that she needed to send the car back and have black seats put on it. And I was like, you did what? It's like, if someone gave me a Maserati, I mean, if it was like striped polka dot, I would be driving it. I wouldn't.
And so she tells you about Nina getting her a Maserati, and we're going to kind of, move through some of the other things a little more quickly. In June of 2020, did you have an appointment with Lisa again?
Yes, I did.
And was that the appointment where you met Nina?
That was the first time I met Nina, yes.
Okay, what was your impression of Nina? Was she outgoing, loud?
No, Nina, for her being an attorney, I thought that she would be like very outgoing. She was, to me, very introverted, didn't have much to say. That first visit that I had with her when I met Nina was very, very short. We were introduced to each other by Lisa, and she was kind of quiet. She basically told Lisa, she goes, hey, why don't you call me? She says, I'm just going to walk around the shops, and check things out. Just let me know when you're done and I'll come by and get you.
Okay, so she just seemed very quiet.
Yes.
Did Lisa tell you in June 2020 about plastic surgery that she was planning?
She did. She told me that Nina was paying for her to have plastic surgery. And I was very surprised because she had never ever talked about ever wanting anything like that. And, we had a lot of intimate conversations. So.
And then in July of 2020, you had an appointment again, and then Nina showed up this time as well.
Yes, this time Nina actually stayed. The way I describe where my working area is, there's a chair that faces us where, like if there's someone that's with a client of mine, they always have the option to like sit right there where they can visit. So yes, Nina did stay this time.
Okay. And after that particular appointment, was there a time that you had an appointment with Lisa where she came in very upset?
Yes.
And did she tell you what she was upset about?
Yes, that she came in on a Saturday morning. She told me that she got home from work Friday and that she caught Chuck and Nina in bed together. And when she was telling me this, she was like, I could just kill her. And I was like, wait, slow down a minute. I was like, you sound a little aggressive here. She goes, yeah. She says, I cannot believe that I caught them in bed together. And I told her, I said, Lisa, you invited this. I was like, you have let this trio thing go on. Did you not think that it was going to happen? And, after that, I had not really ever seen Nina. I never saw Lisa like upset. She was always like, this particular day, she was very, very upset.
And did she mention if you just told the jury that she was upset with Nina. Did she mention being upset with Chuck?
No,
Was it your understanding prior to that the three of them were all in a physical relationship?
pretty much.
You did her hair right before her, were you able to do her hair before plastic surgery?
I did.
Okay, and then you understood that was kind of scheduled for early September, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, then you had an appointment with her on October 10th after the plastic surgery. Is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am, I did.
And on that day, so she had a facelift and a thigh surgery.
Yes.
Thigh lift, I believe. How was she moving around on October 10th?
She was moving around very slow that day that I saw her. She came in with baggy clothes, which is something that I've never really seen her in. I kind of took it that maybe, because her body was like still in pain, maybe she had to wear, like loose clothes. But the whole time that I saw her on that day, she talked about the plastic surgery. She told me that she had an infection on one of her legs, and they had to put like a drainage bag there because her leg had gotten infected from the surgery.
You said she was moving slowly, but she was still able to walk in?
Yes,
She was able to move around?
yes.
And that particular day, she asked for, something a little different with her hair. I'm showing you, ma'am, what's with Mark States Exhibit 86. Do you recognize that photo?
I do,
Okay. And is it fair and accurate representation of her hair that?
very much so.
Your Honor, State Offers 86 for all purposes, tendering to defense counsel.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit 86 is admitted for all purposes. And this particular day, she still has this side shave and the pompadour,
Yes,
but she went with full-on pink.
she did, and I thought that was very unusual. I didn't question her this time for some reason. But looking back at the picture now, I'm like, why would she even wear pink if she's like the type of job that she has on?
Okay, that's just your thinking, right?
Yes,
Now, did she make an additional appointment after that?
she did.
And when was that appointment?
So I typically go on vacation the week after Thanksgiving every year. So I did do that. The week after that, I was booked with clients, so I was not able to get her until the following Saturday. So,
And
I'm not sure what
did
that is.
she ever call in? I'm sorry, I'll get that in just a minute. Did she ever call in and cancel that appointment?
She didn't.
She just no-showed?
She just no-showed, which is something that she had never, ever done. The one thing about Lisa is she was definitely on top of her hair. I mean, I saw her faithfully. She never, ever missed an appointment for anything. So at the time, we pretty much already knew that Marisela was missing.
Okay, you'd seen the article,
I did see the article.
and you'd seen the information about Mr. Beltran being a person of interest.
Yes, ma'am.
And you kind of seen in the news that maybe they were looking for Ms. Dykes, or had you seen that?
I have not, kind of at the same time. I have another client, her name is Jenny.
Okay. And I don't want you to talk about everything that Jenny
Okay.
talked about,
All right.
but, thank you, I'm sorry. I guess the bottom line is it didn't shock you necessarily that she no-showed in December.
Well, I was really hoping that she was going to show up for that.
Objection, Your Honor, to the narrative, is a yes or no.
Sustained. Were you surprised that she no-showed in December?
I was not surprised.
And were you hoping that she would?
I was very much hoping that she would.
Now, we talked about December 10th being Lisa's last hair appointment with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on, Your Honor. When she spoke about Nina and her marriage, did she tell you whether or not she was interested in Nina sexually?
No, she was not. There was a visit that she came in and Nina was coming in town. And she was telling me that,
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
I'll overrule that objection. What did she tell you?
she basically told me that, that Nina was coming in town and she just had like this disgusted look on her face. She goes, that just means I'm gonna have to sleep with her.
And did she have those same conversations about Chuck? Did she talk about whether she had sexual relations with Chuck and whether or not she enjoyed that? Was that a conversation you had?
From what, I mean, the conversations that we did have that, you know, that took place about Chuck, yeah, she always enjoyed that.
Now, Ms. De Leon, I'm showing you what's been marked State's Exhibit 87. Is that your driver's license picture?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Garage State moves to admit State's 87 for all purposes, entering defense.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 87 is admitted for all purposes. You and I sat down and talked in your home for quite some time. This is not a situation you really wanted to be involved in, is it?
Not at all.
And something you never really thought you would ever have to be involved in.
It's never happened to me in my career.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Mrs. De Leon, I'm Valerie Baxton, and I'm one of the attorneys representing Mr. Dykes. So I'm gonna ask-
Hopefully see you later, Erin.
Follow up on what you were talking about with Mrs. Pittman. So, Lisa started coming to see you around 2016,
Yes, ma'am.
and, at that time, was Lisa very overweight?
She was.
And, during the period of time that she was coming to you as her hairdresser and colorist, did Lisa lose a substantial amount of weight?
She lost some weight.
About 60 pounds. Yes or no?
Yes,
Enough weight where you could tell there was a real difference.
yes.
And you mentioned earlier that Lisa would come in and talk about her kids, about Chelsea, her daughter who lived with her. Chelsea was an adult at this time, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's really not something horrible or surprise that an adult parent would want their adult child to live their life, so the adult parent could do some things too as well.
Can I answer that? The way I saw it, Chelsea was very dependent on Lisa.
But Chelsea was an adult. It wasn't like she was a teenager or a middle school student or an elementary student. She was well into her 20s or even early 30s, yes or no?
Yes,
And being a responsible parent, a good parent, you want your children to be able to function in this world without being completely dependent on you.
I would hope so.
So Chelsea moving back to Florida, where she worked for the Disney company before, where she had friends, that wasn't really a big shock or surprise.
It was to me.
But that's where all of Chelsea's friends were.
But once again,
Yes or no? That's where her, your
Yes.
understanding, that's where Chelsea's friends were.
yes,
That she worked for the Disney company.
back in the day, yes.
Now, as far as Lisa wanting to change up her hairstyle from going to a longer hairstyle to a shorter hairstyle, Lisa did a bunch of styles with you. She did a pixie cut. Do you remember doing pixie cuts for her?
Not really.
But as a woman gets older, it's no surprise that sometimes she may want to do something different with her hair.
Most women would.
So Lisa wanting to change up her hair, that wasn't really a big shock.
That was a very big shock.
But Lisa had just lost a lot of weight. Maybe she wanted a new look. Is that possible?
Yes,
And then you were talking about her wanting to dye her hair pink in October. Isn't October Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
I have no idea, but I would not think that that would have anything to do with it.
A lot of people dye their hair pink and like to wear pink. Yes or no?
Yes,
Especially in October. And I know you said you're not aware that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it is.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm not aware of it. I've just never heard Lisa talk about, breast cancer awareness month.
Okay, now about Lisa showing you her tattoos, was she, the one always showing them off to you, or did you ask to see her tattoos?
They were always in plain sight.
And when she, you said when she would come to get her hair done, she would wear like a t-shirt and jeans.
Yes,
Okay. And that's pretty typical for getting your hair done, because you don't want, if you're getting your hair colored and things like that, you don't want to mess up your clothes. You're not gonna come to a hair salon wearing afterthought or cocktail attire or anything like that. You're gonna wear something pretty basic. Yes.
correct. And most of my clients would always wear a smock over it so they wouldn't get anything on their clothes.
And, but Lisa did talk to you about investing in Charles's rap career.
She did.
And so they had a relationship, but she also viewed it as an investment.
I think she did that to
Yes,
please
ma'am.
him,
Yes or no? It was an investment.
I suppose, yes.
Now, you were talking about the Halloween party that her law firm was having. This would have been in October of 2019. And the image that she wanted, isn't that called La Caprina?
I'm not sure
You're not
what it's
sure?
called.
Okay. And you weren't the one who designed the face makeup,
She sent me a picture through text message and basically wanted me to mock that. And that's what I was going off of.
but you're the one who ultimately did the design on her face.
I was.
So that creation was your creation.
It was not my creation. I was going off of the picture that she showed me. Yep.
Now, you also talked about, Lisa talking to you about Nina, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that Lisa told you, oh, she can give me everything I want. Wasn't Lisa also talking about just companionship?
She was talking financial.
But wasn't she also talking about companionship?
No.
So, but she testified that you knew about Lisa's past relationships, yes?
I knew I wouldn't even call them relationships. The only one that she really ever talked about before that was her husband that she had in Florida.
Well, on direct, she said that that Chuck didn't seem like the type of person she would date based off of her past boyfriends or her past relationships. And I'm paraphrasing.
I'm not really sure what you mean by that.
So in your mind, it wasn't for companionship as well.
Who, Chuck?
I'm sorry, Nina and Lisa's relationship. There may have been a financial aspect to it, but it was also for a companionship because they were friends.
They were friends, but Lisa was not into women from what she had ever talked to me about. That was the first time that she.
Well, let me ask you this, Mrs. Stedman, because how much did Lisa really tell you? Because it seems like you do a lot of talking, so it would amaze me that Lisa could get a lot in with you and share things with you.
There were a lot of intimate stories that Lisa told me.
Now, this altar that you said you saw in her house, in her closet, are you sure this wasn't in Chuck's room?
No, I knew where Chuck's room was. We were in Lisa's room.
And you said it was an altar that a lot of people have altars in their homes, or something set up like with maybe Our Lady of Guadalupe or something like that.
This wasn't a,
That's not what I'm asking you. A lot of people have altars in their homes, yes or no?
I've never really, no.
Have you ever been in someone's home where they had an altar, there was a picture of Our Lady of Guadalupe?
Not really.
I'm sorry, I have to go make coffee. Just come back from the dentist. So I've not had much time at home today.
I'm handing to you what's marked as defendants exhibit number 3. Do you recognize the person in that picture?
Chuck.
Chuck, Charles Beltran?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'm tendering to state. No, the mics that have this bid in his head, Your Honor.
All right, defense exhibit number 3 is admitted for all purposes.
Now, this is how Chuck looked when you met him.
It is
And you met him, what, 2 or 3 times?
twice.
And he had this appearance both times you met him?
Yes.
And this made you a little uncomfortable, did it not, Mrs. DeLeon?
Yes, mainly because she had never really told me what Chuck looked like. So yeah, it kind of caught me off guard.
And it surprised you that she would be dealing with a younger man,
Yes.
who was all tatted up and in the rap, in the music business, or trying to get into the music business.
Correct.
Now, you testified about coming over to Lisa's house to do her hair, and Lisa had made a catfish dinner,
Yes.
and Chuck came in while you were there with another man. is that
Yes.
correct? And why did it make you so uncomfortable, Chuck, with this other man?
Well, number one, I didn't think, I thought it was just going to be Lisa and I. But it was just the way they both looked. You know, I'm not used to being around like,
Did you think Chuck was flirting with you?
not at all.
Did Chuck really say much to you?
He basically just said that he remembered who I was.
Did the other guy flirt with you or try to talk?
No.
Did you think it was unusual that this other man said nothing to you at all? Not even a small conversation?
I don't know why he would.
Did he even say hello or introduce himself to you?
Not that I recall.
And generally, when you come in somewhere, you do say hello to people, you introduce yourself, even if you're not going to engage in conversation. So that's just polite.
Correct.
Now, Mrs. DeLeon, let me ask you, because you made a big deal about Lisa seeing a younger person. Do you have an issue with May-December relationships if it's the woman who is more seasoned?
Can you just repeat that?
Well, you kind of made a big deal in your direct testimony about Lisa dating a younger man. Like it bothered you. That was the impression that you got. And do you have an issue with women dating younger men when older men date younger women all the time?
I don't have an issue with it at all. It was just the fact that that he was literally like half her age, and I just did not think that she would ever end up with a guy that young.
Is it fair to say Mrs. DeLeon, you're probably a more conservative person?
Very much so.
And you do remember that Lisa had a near-death experience, correct? Involving her aortic.
I don't recall.
You don't remember that?
I don't recall.
And now going to the plastic surgery that took place in September, you saw her in October.
Yes, ma'am.
And she came in, you said wearing baggy clothes.
Yes.
And you said that she was moving, but she was moving very slowly.
She was.
So she wasn't the spry person that you normally encountered.
No.
And she did tell you she had like a major infection with this.
She did.
Did she also mention to you that she had at least one open wound on her thighs?
On her leg. She never said that it was an open wound. She just said that she had an infection and that she had a drainage bag.
Okay.
Yes.
Attached.
Yes, ma'am. I never saw it though.
But she wasn't wearing jeans, she was wearing something pretty bad.
They were baggy.
Okay.
I can't recall if I can't recall if they were jeans or sweats. It was just baggy because I never really saw her like in baggy clothes. So.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Can you redirect? No, Your Honor. May this witness be found excused? Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. If you would please watch your step, heading down to the witness stand, we will go and take our recording break for the next 5 to 10.
Anyone. And thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you speak into that microphone?
Good morning.
Could you state your name for the record?
Dykes and students.
Do you go by Dax?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Camden, Arkansas.
Where do you live now?
Irving, Texas.
So in the Dallas area?
Yes.
How long you lived in the Dallas area?
Since like 202,
Okay, so 21 years now?
something like that. Yes, sir.
And what do you do for work?
I manage a bar in Deep Ellum,
What bar do you manage?
on premise.
You said that's in Deep Ellum, in Dallas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's a bar.
Bar club. Yes, sir.
So it's got a later opening, it's not like a restaurant, it's just a bar club kind of place.
Yes.
Can you kind of describe on premise?
Each night is a different night. We try to give good service to all guests to come, with everybody club, bar club, whatever. Just good time.
Pretty mixed crowd.
Yes, sir.
There?
We cater to everybody.
How long have you been working on premise?
I think since like 2015, 2016. One of those.
And she said since 2015, somewhere in there.
Yes, sir. 15 to 16.
And where's your first one?
You may.
I'm going to show you what I have marked here, states 88 through 91. Is that on premise there in 88?
Yes.
And then that's kind of the corner away from on premise. You can kind of still see on premise here, and that's Punk Society, is that right?
Yes.
States 89, and then states 90 and 91 are those map aerial photos of the Deep Ellum area,
Yes.
kind of where on premise is at. This time I'll offer states 88 through 91. I'll turn to for any objections. No objections there.
All right, states exhibits 88 through 91 are admitted for all purposes.
Commissioner Belcher?
You may.
So start here with states 90. The map here of on premise, kind of the type view. It's on Elm and what's kind of cross street over here? You know?
Crowd, I think.
Okay. And you're right next to trees.
Yes, sir.
And then down here is that's Punk Society.
Yes, sir.
And so here states 88, that's kind of the front, storefront of on-premise there.
Yes.
So in your time there at on-premise, did you meet the defendant, Lisa Dykes?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you come to meet Lisa?
At the time, her son was the general manager,
And who was her son?
Kyle Williams.
Okay. So Kyle's managing there at on-premise,
Yes.
and his mom is Lisa Dykes, and she comes to the bar or what?
Yes.
And so you got to know her then.
Yes.
Do you know about when that would have been?
Probably 2017, 18, something like that.
And how was she?
Nice lady, like a mom,
And Kyle,
a good friend. Yeah,
Friend.
good person. Yes.
friend and coworker.
Yes.
And no issues there whatsoever.
None.
And did you come to meet the Charles Beltran there?
Yes.
Okay. Does he go by Chuck?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you meet Chuck?
He was part of security staff.
Okay. He worked there as well as security.
Yes.
How was he as a security personnel?
Cool guy, people person.
And he was kind of work the door.
Not much the door, more than the inside.
How was he at his job? Was he good at his job, or was he focused on other things?
Both, everything, yeah. He was good in some days, and he focused on talking and
Talking to
women.
that's Chuck. He is the type that would talk to any woman out there.
I don't say in it, but yeah, he talked to a lot of us.
And any issues with Chuck, or is Chuck a friend?
Friends.
So he's another coworker and friend right there on premise, and you guys all meet, is it around the same time, 2018-ish?
Yeah, somewhat, yes, sir.
Do you meet Lisa first? And then
That one I can't recall.
And you've got another friend who's here with you today, Freddie Chapman, is that right?
Yes.
Now he doesn't work at the bar, though.
No,
Never has,
never has.
but does he frequent hang out there with you guys?
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about a time that you were with, you and Lisa Dykes would talk occasionally while she's up there.
Yes.
Did you ever go to her house?
I have a few times.
Was that by yourself or with Chuck?
It was always with Chuck. Yeah, of course.
So you and Chuck, and that would be the house in Mesquite?
Yes.
Okay. And before I get into kind of more of that, was there a time where Lisa was asking you about Freddie?
She asked about Freddie once or twice. Yes.
And what was the contents, or what was she asking you about it?
It was more like trying to hang out tonight. Like call Freddie, but you can come hang out with me, something like that.
Was she interested in kind of pursuing Freddie?
Possible, yeah. It could have, yeah.
Is that what it seemed like to you?
Yes.
Was she wanting you to kind of connect you and Freddie for them to talk further?
For the night, yeah.
And then in hindsight, let's talk then about, I guess, obviously, are you aware of her relationship with Charles Belcher and Chuck?
To a degree, yes.
Okay. What were your observations of that relationship? Did he ever come out and talk about his relationship with Lisa?
Not really, a little bit. Not really, though.
Okay. What was that like? How would he describe it, or what were your observations of that relationship with Chuck and Lisa?
The way he described it with me, sugar mama type.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would they hang out together in the bar?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Did they act like a couple, or they just kind of be around and things were kind of normal? As if they were?
Yeah. They really didn't act like a couple, no.
And to you, your observations and things Chuck would say made you think sugar mom.
To a degree, yeah.
And during the time that he's got that sugar mama relationship with Lisa, is he still doing the Chuck thing with different women?
I mean,
That never stopped. No.
You have to answer out loud, sir, yes or no?
no.
Thank you.
And was he the type that would try and hide his efforts with other women, or was that kind of pretty out and in the obvious?
Out in the obvious, yeah.
And so then I want to talk a little bit about October 2020.
All right.
It sounds like that first weekend there in October, did you and Chuck take a trip?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that trip. Where were y'all going?
Camden, Arkansas.
So you guys take off to Arkansas. Who all is going with you?
In the van, it was me, Freddie, Chuck, Jordan, and Brian.
And did Lisa Dykes go with you?
Yes, her and Nina. Nina was in a vehicle behind us,
Okay. What van were you in?
a runner van.
Okay. Who rented the van?
Lisa.
So Lisa rents this van for you and Chuck and a few friends, Freddie included, to drive to Camden, Arkansas, and you guys are going for a rap concert?
Yeah, rap show for a club in US.
Okay. Did you help set that up?
Yes.
And was Chuck going to perform?
Yes.
And was Freddie going to perform?
Yes.
Were they the headliners?
Shit. No, that wasn't the headline.
Let me warn you before the judge does.
I'm sorry.
You can use profanity if you're quoting someone.
Yeah.
Just don't use it in your own responses in court.
All right, cool.
So if you're quoting someone, that's fine. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they're not headlines. So your response there, from your perspective, did it seem like Chuck's rap career had a chance of really taking off?
No, sir.
No. And so you guys go, you leave for Camden, Arkansas. Is it that Friday the 2nd?
Yes, like nighttime, I think. Yeah, night.
Okay. And you said you're from Camden,
Yes.
so you still have family there when you went?
Yeah, my dad.
Okay. Where was everybody planning to stay when they got to Camden?
It was a hotel room. It was like 2 or 3 rooms. I can't remember. I stayed with my dad the whole time.
You stayed with your dad, but there were a couple of hotel rooms.
For sure, too.
And you went to the hotel, to be clear.
Yeah, I play a video game here and there.
And at the hotel, there's multiple rooms. Do you know who paid for those rooms?
Lisa.
And you've got, I assume, I guess what's the room makeup? Is Lisa Nina in a room? And
Yeah. They was on one level, and then there was another room for sure on another level.
And so tell me then about that trip. So the Saturday, everything's fine?
Yeah, just hanging out, chilling.
Who drove the car behind you guys? Lisa or Nina?
I want to say with Lisa. Yeah, Lisa.
And how long is that drive?
At least 4 hours.
So 4 hours or so drive up to Camden. You go hang out with family, I'm assuming when you get there, it sounds like it's.
Yes.
And then Saturday, you guys are hanging out, getting ready for the show?
Yeah.
Everything was fine?
Yes.
No issues or anything like that?
Correct.
Okay. How'd the show go?
From 1 to 10, it was about 6,
How was Chuck's part of the show?
about 3. I'm being honest. Yeah.
And let me ask you this too, right? So Chuck's not the headliner, obviously. That's not what people are there to see.
Correct.
There was a bigger local artist or regional artist.
Region, yes. Yeah.
Is it something where that establishment is like reaching out to Chuck saying, hey, you come perform, or did you guys have to coordinate for the slot?
The second guy was the opener, and I guess they was looking for they had a slot for another artist or whatever. The second guy is one of my good friends too, and it just got set up where Chuck had the slot. I think it was like $200-300 for the slot.
Chuck had to pay for the slot.
Yes.
So it's not. It wasn't a case of anyone was interested in recruiting Chuck to come perform. It was you made a connection to get him on stage.
Yeah.
And at this time, he had maybe a song or two out, I think.
Yes.
Him and Freddie had a song as well.
Together, yes.
You don't perform with him or rap with him or anything like
No,
that.
I ain't a rap.
But you had some of those connections, and they were your friends, and
Yeah.
kind of worked with us. The audience, you said, Chuck's was about 3, so it sounds like the audience wasn't too into Chuck's performance.
Correct.
You get some booze.
Yeah, I heard a few of those.
Okay, so some booze, some chuckling, probably,
Yeah.
and then things turn around when Freddie gets on the stage.
Yeah, that was song number 2. Yes.
So when Dax or when Freddie and Chuck do a song together,
Yeah, I heard people like, okay.
One
Like,
at a time.
oh, my bad.
just make sure. Let me finish the question. That you answered.
Yeah.
Y'all leave Arkansas. Or I guess that night. What do y'all do that night after the show?
Went back to the hotel
Do you go back to the hotel and hang out for a
for a
little
little
bit?
bit.
But you don't stay.
No, I went back to my dad.
So you have no idea where Chuck stayed that night from your own
Yeah, no idea.
And Lisa was obviously there with you guys. She drove, you said, and she's at the hotel. Was she at the concert?
Yes.
Was she hanging out, walking around?
Yes.
Okay. Was she drinking that night?
Yes.
So she's there having a good time.
Yes.
And are you aware that she had a surgery though, like a month before this?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of surgery?
Plastic surgery or something.
Do you know where?
I think it's neck, leg, something like that.
Do you help? Were you actually there picking her up from the hospital with Chuck?
I wanted the car, yes. I went there for sure.
And that next day, that Sunday, did you guys drove back on Sunday the 4th?
Yes.
No issues at this point.
No.
And you drive back to, where do y'all go when you drive back?
Mesquite.
Was that the meetup point, that Mesquite house where Lisa lived?
Yeah.
And what did y'all do from there? What was the plan?
Me and Freddie Ubered downtown because at the time that's where I was living at downtown. Around 7-ish, 8-ish, and then me and Chuck met back up like midnight.
So you guys Ubered, was the plan to Uber when you got there?
No.
Why'd you Uber?
Chuck couldn't find his keys.
His keys to his car was the black Audi?
Yeah.
And so he can't find his keys, so you guys say, we're just gonna catch an Uber and we'll figure something out later.
Yeah.
Okay. You said you live downtown, not too far from Deep Ellum, New York.
Correct.
About how far?
A mile?
So walkable distance from where you work and that's where.
Yeah.
Was Freddie staying there too?
Yes.
Freddie worked down there too?
Yes, he was concierge.
At the.
Manor House.
Okay, that's the apartment you live.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and Freddie Uber back to Manor House, and Does Freddie stay with you?
Stay with me. No,
No, I
no.
mean, not that evening.
Nah, you
You
go.
go with Chuck,
He go to his place and I go to my place, and then me and Chuck link back up.
and Freddie's gone at that point.
Yeah, yeah,
And so we're talking October 4th in the evening hours, you said 7, 8,
yeah, somewhat like that.
pretty quickly. Did you and Chuck meet back up?
Yes.
What do you think? What time we all meet up? I presume Deep Ellum?
Yeah, he picked me up.
Okay. In the Audi?
Yes.
So October 4th, Sunday, he's picking you up in the Audi, and then are y'all going down to Deep Ellum?
Yes.
Is that where y'all typically would hang out?
For the most part, yes.
So that Sunday, you, it's evening, you head down to Deep Ellum in Chuck's vehicle. Where do you go?
We went to Deep Ellum, and the first spot we went to was Punk Society.
And that's right here in the corner in States 90, and then here in 89.
Yes.
You kind of zoom in, you can see the sign say Punk Society there.
Yeah.
And that's just a couple businesses down or bars down from on premise.
Yes.
What'd y'all do at Punks?
We went in maybe for like 10, 15 minutes. And we had a drink or two. And then we seen his baby mama,
Who's baby mom?
Chuck.
Okay.
And
You know her
then
name?
Jasmine.
Okay, so Jasmine, Chuck's baby mama.
Yeah, she
You
come
were
in.
together at the time?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Did you see her come in? What's y'all's reaction to seeing her walk in?
Shit, we gotta go. We went through the back door.
So there's a back door to Punks.
Yes, yes, through the kitchen and all that. Yeah.
And you kind of see here, most of these all of these, or at least on premise, you have a back door, patio area, and you can get out that way as well, right?
Yeah, most of them like that.
And so Jasmine walks in right here.
Yeah.
You and Chuck say, no, we don't want that, and we go out that.
Yes,
Okay. Chuck kind of avoiding Jasmine, it seems.
yes.
Okay. Where do y'all go next?
We went in front of Pump Society and went across the street.
So out here,
Yes, sir.
and then back over to this side?
No, right there. That's
This side.
Yep.
So over here by Rodeo Dallas?
Dada.
That's Dada right there.
Yeah, that's where we was at.
Dada right here.
Yes.
Okay. What do you guys do over there? Did you go into the establishment? or hang
No,
out?
They weren't open. We was just talking, and then a few minutes later, his baby mama came out, Chuck. Then they all walked on the side of Rodeo. At the time, it was with 10.
So Jasmine and the people she's with go down this way?
Yeah, and we saw them. Yeah.
And y'all are just hanging out, just posted up outside?
Yeah. Smoking cigarette talk.
Any issues with Jasmine at that time?
No.
So, okay. And, but her people just walking on by?
Yes.
Okay, what happens next?
Chuck was like, man, look at that girl. It was a lady walking in front of Pump to like Brick and Bones. And then she came across the street and we both spoke to the lady and she went to Chuck.
So she's on this other side of the street?
Yeah,
y'all on this
walking
side?
across, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Chuck notices her, she's walking across that side?
Yeah.
And then you said she crosses back
She
over?
crossed the street and came down towards us.
That girl was Marisela Botello.
Correct. Yes.
So Marisela's crossing the street. Chuck says, hey, that's a pretty girl.
Yes.
Something along those lines. And then she comes over to you guys.
Yes.
Okay, what happens then?
We both like, hey, how you doing? And she went to Chuck. Her and Chuck talked 3 to 5 minutes.
How was that conversation?
I really wasn't paying attention, but they were giggling, talking.
Okay, so it seems positive.
Yes.
You said you heard giggling.
Yeah.
Did it seem flirtatious between the two of them?
Correct.
And it was quick, you said.
3 to 5 minutes.
She walks over after you guys seen her pass, 3 to 5 minute talk.
Yes.
giggling, And body language wise, it seemed like they're both kind of flirting.
Correct.
Okay, what happens next?
Chuck was like, I'm about to roll, because that's what they call me because of my old head. I'm finna go with her. I like, cool. So they went between Brick and Bones and Pump Society, that alley, that
This little
yeah,
park.
right there. And Chuck was parked on Indiana Street.
So, if you look here, 91, you got a little more real estate. So Indiana's back off this back street over here.
Behind the trees area, like that part right there.
So somewhere back. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's in that parking lot that's just right there behind the trees and Punk and on premise.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And him and Marisela walk that way.
Correct.
Everything seemed fine.
Seemed fine to me.
That seemed something you'd seen Chuck do before?
Yes.
And so he goes away. Do you think he's coming back at some point?
Nah.
You assumed he was gone for the evening at this point.
Yeah, it was like 1 o'clock, 1:15 or something.
Any calls or texts from Chuck after that night?
No, like I called him like I was really trying to get a ride back home, but he didn't answer, so I went back in Punk Society.
Did you hang out at Punk's for a little bit?
Yeah, about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, how'd you get back home?
I walked on
You said it's a mile or so.
like a 12, 15 minute walk.
And so you get stranded there. Your friend that drove you here,
Yeah,
take you back. He's off. He's now found a girl that he's going to take back to his car, and they're gone.
correct,
You don't know where they go.
correct.
And you did hear from Chuck again that evening.
No, I didn't.
When's the next time you saw Chuck?
The next day.
So you're gonna 6-5, right? Sunday night you're out.
Yeah.
Chuck leaves with, and that's I guess going into the early hours of the 5th of October. You know, like you said, 1 a.m. or so, and him and Marisela are leaving. It's later, hours later on the 5th, sometime that morning. That
Yeah.
you see Chuck. Where at? At your house?
Yes, like 11 or noon around that time.
So late morning or around noon.
Correct.
And how was Chuck when you saw him?
Normal, like regular Chuck.
What did he say? Did you ask him about that?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, why was that girl last night? And he was like, he was nonchalant. I'm like, man, nothing really. Just got some head. Went to the store, got some mixers. Then got some head, whatever. Messed around. This is words. And then he dropped her off because she wouldn't let him take her back to the hotel. And he just dropped her off by like Baylor.
So he says they had some kind of sexual encounter
Yeah.
with each other, that they bought mixers together, and
Yeah.
that he couldn't go to her hotel.
Yeah, they messed around in the car.
And they just dropped her off somewhere in that scene.
Yeah, correct.
Did anything seem, or did you press on that story, or did that seem like it would potentially be true based on what you
No.
knew at the time?
Yeah, it seemed like it'd be true.
So you had no reason to question at that time.
Correct.
And then you guys hang out for a little while, or
Yeah, a little bit that day.
how long?
I can't really recall, but I'm sure a few hours.
And I guess he eventually leaves. Do you know where he's going after that?
No,
Did you hang out with him that evening?
maybe so. That evening, yeah, then the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day.
So y'all hung out kind of this whole week here. You all hanging out?
For the most part, yes.
Either, where are you guys hanging out at?
My crib, Deep Ellum, strip club, something.
And when's the last time you see Chuck?
I can't really recall, but I see him like every day until like Marisela pictures started coming up being a missing person.
Do you remember when you started seeing her pictures come up?
Not really. I can't recall. But I know at least a week, 8 days, 9, something like that. Somewhere up in there.
About a week, you start seeing her pictures start really getting blasted.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got phone calls about detectives popping up their own premise and all that type of stuff, asking about Chuck.
Did you talk to detectives?
Yeah, I talked to several.
Obviously, you were with Chuck whenever he sees Marisela and leaves with Marisela, so people want to talk to you and just a unit.
Yeah, correct.
And you were cooperative.
Oh, yeah.
with them?
Yes.
Much like you've been with Ms. Pittman and I, where we've asked you multiple times about what you know about this.
Yes.
And the FBI or detectives, that's kind of after you start hearing about the news articles and her face getting kind of posted everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, so we're thinking maybe this week of October. Oops.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So maybe the week of 12th, maybe the week of 19th, somewhere in there you start getting.
Yeah, something like that.
Does the folks that work down in Deep Ellum or frequent, your spots that you like to hang out, do they start to talk?
Yeah, they started asking me questions, me and Freddie.
So people are starting to wonder what's going on.
Yeah, because we was with Chuck almost every day.
And Chuck, he had that blackout.
Yes.
That week when you guys start hanging out again after the October 5th, does he change cars?
Yes. Yes, for the yeah.
What car did he start driving in?
The white SUV,
Did you know whose white SUV that was?
Lisa's.
So he started to drive Lisa's white SUV instead of the Audi. Had he always been driving the Audi before this?
He'll switch up. He'll switch up cars.
And so when's the last time you saw Chuck then after that?
I don't know exactly the last time I seen him, but when I seen the pictures and all that, I was like, man, that's that girl. And I called him.
Okay.
I'm like, man, and then when they called me, the chef at the time on premise called me and said they was looking for Chuck. Then I called Chuck to tell me, man, they coming through on premise looking for you about this girl. I was like, I ain't playing either, man. He's like, I know. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. What you gonna do? I don't know what's going on. And I was like, I'll talk to you later. I never heard from him again.
Did he give any explanation?
No.
So at that point, you're still thinking he dropped her off somewhere and we don't know what happened.
Correct.
And so you probably talked to Chuck sometime the week of the 12th, it sounds like.
Possibly, yeah. I know for sure we hung out that week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, yeah.
Was Chuck going harder than normal?
Yeah, a little bit.
Y'all just spent a whole weekend.
I know. Yeah, we had no time. Yeah.
And then he leaves. Was Chuck active on social media?
Yeah.
Before all this, he was active on social media?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then when he leaves, what happens with his social media activity?
He kept, I guess he died out for a minute on it. And then throughout the process of him missing, he was posting old videos.
He posts old videos.
Yeah, have some videos he was posting with like stuff he saved.
And he posted as though it was happening then. though.
Yeah, correct.
And you would see that, you saw those posts that he was posting. You knew
And
they were-
hear about it too. Like anything he did, I got phone calls every day.
And how would you know they were old videos? Were they stuff that you would have been?
Yeah, some of them I was there, and I remember the night and all that type of stuff.
Passwords.
Cross-examination.
Sir, okay, you said that he was reposting stuff, and anything he do, you kept getting phone calls, because I'm gonna move on this side, 'cause I can't see you. Basically, that people will contact you, because now you can't see.
I got you.
Switch words. I'm sorry, sir. Because, I mean, everybody knew that, I mean, Uncle Dak, right, that's what Chuck called you, right?
Yeah,
When I say Chuck, I mean Charles Beltran, Chuck 5050, right? That's what we talking about, right?
yes, sir.
I mean, that's his rap name, or that's what he had on his IG, or rap. You know what 5050 was, right?
To a degree, yes,
Half amazing, half crazy, right?
correct.
And when we talk about Chuck, you know, the fact that he liked women, right?
Correct.
He's good to manipulate women.
I don't know about that, but he good with the ladies. Yes, sir.
He was a womanizer, wasn't
Hey, they loved him.
he? Isn't that what he rapped about?
I never really listened to it.
Come on,
Man.
Chuck, you heard.
That's
I
what,
mean, that you
yeah.
heard. Picture me this.
just that part, because that's the only thing you can listen to.
What was SOS? What does SOS mean?
SOS.
What
Some on
does it
site
mean?
or something.
Straight on site.
Yeah. That's a song. I think him and Freddie got there.
What about person of interest? You ever hear person of interest?
Person of interest. Yeah.
That's after Miss Valdez ended up missing, correct?
Yes.
Person of interest. What was song called person of interest after all this popped out, right?
That one I can't recall.
Okay. But let's be clear, as far as your relationship with Mr. Beltran or Chuck 5050, I think you indicated that you guys kind of work together, right?
Yes.
And then that relationship kind of built to more of a friendship. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Would you consider him a friend?
Yes.
Because he thought highly of you as well, right?
Yes.
All right. And as far as Miss Lisa, all you guys are friendly with each other. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
All right. Including her son Kyle,
Yes.
right? You've been over to the house,
Yes.
right? As far as what happened to this girl, you have no idea, do you?
None.
All you know is what Chuck told you, right?
Correct.
And do you remember talking to the police about what Chuck told you?
I talked to several.
Okay. But you. Hold on, what you want to do? Okay. Now, Coach, you remember when
The only thing I'm confused about is a lot more Chuck here. I thought it was Lisa's trial, not Chuck's trial. That's the only thing.
Marcella, I guess, initially walked by you guys, right? First she walked by y'all, didn't she?
Across the street, yes.
But at some point, she actually came up to y'all, didn't she?
Correct.
And had a conversation with with Chuck, right?
Yes.
And was she talking to him about getting some weed?
Possible 3 years ago.
That's good. I'll share with that. 2, 1. Yeah, I'll show you a photo. Is this how Chuck was dressed that night when
Yes.
Ms. Valdez came up and approached him?
Yes.
In fact, that's them, right?
Yes.
That's how they appeared back in October, was it the 4th of 2020?
Yes.
Mr. Harris, if you could detail what picture that is.
I just showed you defense 1.
Okay.
And now I'm showing you defense 3. And this is how Chuck, you also called himself Chuck Gorgeous, didn't
Yes.
you? But this is Chuck 50/50, right?
Chuck, yes.
In fact, he got the 50/50 tattooed on his neck, don't
I think so.
he? I want to talk to you about what you told the police you recall of Chuck and Marcel, so at least what he told you.
Yes.
He specifically told you that he had sex with her in the car that night. You remember that?
Something like that. It was either 6 or something. Yeah.
And after that, he told you that he dropped her off at an unknown location, right?
By Baylor or whatever. Yeah.
That's it. That's the last he saw her, right?
Yes.
Now, let me ask you, before this night, Chuck with this girl, had you ever said anything about Miss Dykes being jealous of him with women?
No.
Because everybody knows Chuck is a ladies' man, right?
For the most part, yes.
She knew Chuck was a ladies' man, didn't you?
Yes.
You saw his video. Did you ever see his video? Picture me this?
Yeah.
It's actually at her house, isn't it?
Yes.
With some strippers, right?
Yes.
He's actually performing sex on the video, isn't he? Just if you remember.
Something. Yeah. They were doing something. Yeah.
But the fact that he was a womanizer who liked women, that was no shock to her, correct?
Correct.
And again, want to make sure it's clear. You hung out with him almost every day, right?
Yes. No time period. Yeah. Yes.
Never said one thing about her being jealous of him taking women over to her house, right?
Correct.
Because, well, let me ask you this. You know Carmen? Did you know Carmen?
Yes. Yes.
Now, that was another one of Chuck's girls, right?
Yes.
Now, Carmen didn't live with Chuck and Lisa, did she?
No.
He lived with her in another apartment, didn't
Yes.
he? Okay. But that was one of his girls.
Yes.
And of course, he had his baby mamas, right?
Yes.
And I say baby mamas because he had more than one baby mama, right?
I think like 2.
I want to ask you specifically about this time period after, I guess, which would, I guess, be October 5th. I want to make sure I should also, you said that y'all were out after the trip to Arkansas, that y'all went back over to Ms. Dykes' home, and you and Freddie had the Uber back downtown.
Yes.
About how much that cost?
20 something bucks, 18, something like that.
$18, $20. Okay. The trip to Arkansas to perform at the rap show, are you sure that Lisa was driving and not me?
I'm pretty sure.
Why?
Because they were behind us.
Okay.
Then we stopped at a gas station. I met up too when we got gas and stuff.
But during that time period, you knew that she had the surgery, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did you know that she was taking medication for the pain from the surgery? Just if you knew.
I'm sure. Yeah.
At some point, y'all get back and Chuck can't find his keys.
Yes.
All right, but eventually he had to find the keys to the alley because he ended up back down Deep Ellum, right?
Correct.
And I guess earlier they were asking you about Ms. Dykes, I guess wanting to sue Freddie. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Y'all in club atmosphere, right?
Yes.
Women come down there trying to pick up men, don't
Yes.
they? Men come down there trying to pick up women, right?
Yes.
Older men pick up younger women.
Yes.
Older women pick up younger men, right?
Yes.
That's club life, right?
Yes.
You find I mean, Freddie didn't bite, right?
Nah,
Okay. But Freddie is a nice looking guy, right?
decent dude, decent looking.
I mean, he's not on for Dax, but,
I don't know about that. Oh, man.
okay, I'm sorry, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
But again, as far as Chuck being a woman's man and trying to come on to women, that was nothing unusual, right?
Correct,
All right. And there was no secret to Ms. Dykes, right?
correct.
When you saw him on October the 5th.
Yeah.
Did he act as if anything unusual had happened?
Yeah, it's normal to me.
Did he ever say anything about Miss Dykes or anything happening at Miss Dykes' house?
No,
Did he give any indication that anything had went crazy with Miss Valdez?
no,
Y'all hung out for about a week, and then at some point, he stopped answering his phone, right?
yeah.
Now, did you call his sister, or did his sister call you concerned?
I can't really remember because I met his sister like a month or two before all this happened, but we did talk. Yes, I met his sister.
And his phone going out happened after Mrs. Valdez's pictures started getting posted up down at Deep Ellum area, right?
Correct.
But as far as you, someone he hung around with almost every day, he never said anything about any negative incident that would have happened with Ms. Valdez.
Correct.
In fact, he told you just the opposite, didn't he?
He told me what he told me. Yes.
Told you he dropped her off. They had sex, he dropped her off.
Yes.
He never even told you he took her back to Mesquite, did he?
Correct.
He was specific in where he had sex with her, wasn't
Yes.
he? In his car.
Yes.
That blackout.
Yes.
Not at the house in Mesquite, correct?
Correct.
You, somebody hanging around with every day, right?
Yes.
Any reason for him to lie to you?
Shouldn't be. Yeah. No.
You don't know whether he was lying or not, do you?
No.
Hard to tell when he's lying, isn't it?
Correct.
You say SOS is straight on site, right?
That was a song. Yes.
Straight on site. That means straight on site. When I see you, it's on, right?
It could be SOS. Could be anything. Man. I don't know. I'm not a rapper. I don't know nothing about that.
But in the context, you heard the song straight on site.
Yeah, I heard the song. Yes.
In the context that they're using straight on site, that means when I see you, it's on, correct?
Correct.
And from the rap song. I'm saying
From the rap song.
from
Yes.
their
Correct. Yes.
song.
Yeah.
If you listen to the lyrics of their song.
Correct.
Now, if this jury listens to the lyrics, they can form whatever opinion they want to, correct?
Correct.
But when you listen to it, straight on site means it's on when I see you, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
And do you remember any of the lyrics from the Picture Me This?
Man, it was,
Women on my dickity dick?
yeah. I'm about to say like smooth cartoon stuff. Smooth. Yeah.
Gangster rap stuff.
I ain't gonna say that with gangster, but yeah.
Okay. Did you know the lyrics from the person of interest? Just if you do.
No.
Okay. But you are certain that he told you somebody hanging around with almost every day that he had sex with her in the car.
Yes.
Never said nothing about having sex with her at the house.
Correct.
Now you've been to their to that house in Mesquite.
Yes.
Did he have an altar out there?
No, altar.
Yes, if you know, you don't know.
Altar. No, I don't know nothing about that.
Okay, so you don't know nothing about no sex and altar, nothing like that.
Correct.
Did you ever meet Miss Nina?
Yes.
Okay. And again, even with Nina, he never said anything about Nina being jealous of him either, with other women, did he?
No.
And as far as his wannabe rapper career, as you would, I guess, phrase it,
Yeah.
She was financing it, wasn't she?
Yes.
She bought him a studio, didn't she?
Yes.
And whether you believed in him, she did, didn't she?
Yes.
Or did that what did?
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Depp.
Well, then we're gonna go ahead and break for lunch, and it's 12:39. I expect you back in jury room no later than 1:45. We are recessed.
All right.
Raise your right hand.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah. As I say, just get creative as you want. You know, you got free reign to do whatever you want on there. I know. The only thing I probably need to do a little clear out because there are people in there who are not members, so I need to do a little clear out.
Do
But
solemnly swear or affirm
looking
that
good
the
apart
testimony
from that.
you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God. Thank you. Please have a seat. The witness stand. Watch your step.
That's like, sure.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
You may proceed.
May I approach some, return?
I'll get it done. Sorry.
Is there any Kleenex there you can put in?
No, man.
If you could hand him a Kleenex, just around, thank you so much. That's all right, I'm gonna do it as well.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just state your name, stop the record, sir.
Yes, Frederick Chapman, FREDERICK, Chapman, CHATMAN.
Sir, and you go by Freddie?
Yeah, go by Freddie.
Freddie, where are you from?
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
What do you do for work?
Right now, party promoter, entrepreneur, artist
Back in 2020, where you worked in,
at the Manor House, concierge.
All right, Mr. Chapman, if you could please, I know that's how you have a conversation with somebody, but I need you to wait until Mr. Brown is completely finished with his question and then answer, because Mrs. Garza is taking down the record and all the tests.
Okay, got it.
Thank you, sir. You may proceed.
thank you. So, you said now you're doing some of the promoting and entrepreneur.
Yes.
Second. You also do music, make music?
Yes.
You rap?
Yeah, I rap and write music as well.
How long you doing that?
Pretty much all my life. I would say take it serious maybe around 19. Off and on.
You've recorded songs and.
Yes. Yes.
And we'll get into that a little bit more too, but let's talk about Deep Ellum. You're familiar with the area in your house?
Yes.
You go out in that area sometimes?
A lot. Yes.
That's your typical hangout spot.
Definitely.
The establishment on premise here in the States, 88,
Yes.
the place that you frequented quite a bit.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about on premise.
Well, it was Dykes Stephen. He was the head of security at the time that all of this was going on. But on premise, it's good vibes, mixed crowd, nice music. Sometimes they have food.
And you talked about Dax, you were with security. So when did you start going to on premise? Is that how you met Dax?
I met Dykes at another club at Punk Society that's in Deep Ellum as well.
Which is just a couple.
Few blocks, well, a few businesses down there.
And so you met him at Punks and then start hanging out with him. He's working at on premise.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He told me to come by there. Came by on premise, and yeah, that's kind of where the friendship is. We had a mutual friend as well.
Were you already working at Manor House at the time?
Yes, I was.
That's where he was living, is that right?
Not at that time. This was many years ago before I started going on premise, and he moved.
Okay. Eventually, you were working at Manor House, living there, and so he was living there as well, right?
Yeah, he was on the 17th.
But y'all had your own apartment.
Yeah, we just said
And so you met Dax, you started going on premise. Did you ever get a chance to meet Kyle Williams?
yes.
Okay, who was he?
He was the GM at the time, which is Lisa's son.
Okay. And then so did you meet her mom or his mom, Lisa?
Yeah, I met her she was basically popping in and popping out over there.
And so would you see her there on premise?
Occasionally.
Did you ever talk to her?
Yeah, spoke with her.
And let's talk about how'd you meet Charles Beltran or Chuck?
So being that I would go to the clubs so often, he was doing security
kind of run into him, speak. Him and Dykes had a real friendship at the time, so that's kind of how the friendship began.
And Chuck was into music as well. He was into rapping.
Yeah, he was into music, dressing, women, same thing that I was into.
Okay. And you guys eventually recorded together, is that right?
Yeah, we did a song together.
And I went back up a little bit to the times you met Lisa. There was a time that you saw her at a Halloween party?
Yeah, so Dex gave me a call and told me to, yo, man, come up to on premise. Lisa, she asked me about you. She want to see you. And I was like, well, all right, cool. So I pulled up on premise, went in. He told me.
Your point on premise was on premise, open to the public?
No, it was a private party.
Okay. Whose private party was it?
Yeah, that she had rented out, I guess, for her business, her company rented it out or something. But yeah, it was a Halloween party. So I go in, go to the bar, talk to Lisa. She kind of flirted with me heavily. She always was kind of flirtatious a little bit.
That's kind of her general.
Yeah, her energy is pretty strong.
Okay. And how'd that interaction go while she's kind of flirting with you?
Well, her face was painted kind of like a skeleton a little bit, I guess, with the costume she had on. So I was kind of taken back a little bit. I guess just the energy, I don't know, was kind of off for me.
It's kind of off?
Yeah, it was kind of off for me.
And was she trying to have you hang out some other time?
Yeah, she kind of told me like a proposition, like, anything you want, I can make happen. I see your vision, those type of things. So.
Okay. And you played it cool or shut her down or anything?
I just played it cool. I didn't take her up on the offer. I'm kind of like, yeah, we'll talk, but
Never followed up on it.
not to follow up on it.
Okay. So then, how do you find out about Lisa and Chuck?
Well, I guess like a few weeks later, that's when they was in the parking lot of the building of Manor House, yeah. And I stepped out. He was talking with Dax. Dax was talking with Lisa as well. Nina was there. That was my first time meeting Nina. And Chuck had a black Audi, and that's when Dax was like, "Well, it's supposed to be your Audi." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "That's Chuck new Audi. He with Lisa." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." That's kind of how I found. I was like, I guess he took off. Yeah.
And how was Chuck with Lisa and Nina?
That day which normally is kind of casual. Like they in public, they don't really act like they're together. But on that day, I seen them kiss Nina and Lisa, so I was like, "Oh, okay."
So he kisses both of them that day in front of you and
in front of Dax, yeah.
But that was out of the norm in terms of public displays of affection.
Correct.
And would you and Chuck talk? Would he talk to you about his relationship with Lisa and Nina?
Not really. Really wasn't a conversation. It really never was like a conversation. Like, yeah, I'm doing this and doing that. It kind of was unspoken. Like we all knew.
Okay. And what did you all know? What was that relationship to you that you could see?
That it was kind of like the young boy or the woman. She had money, taking care of him. The sugar mama aspect. Yeah.
Okay. So another sugar mama aspect of the relationship.
Right.
He had Chuck had rap equipment, like a studio in the house that he shared with Lisa.
Yes, in one bedroom it was like a painted, basically like a whole studio setup, painted wall, laptop. Yeah, I recorded that.
So what all was in there?
Laptop, speakers, microphone, basically like a studio setup, kind of like a lounge area, not a bedroom, nothing like that. Pretty much like made like a studio.
In like the closet, did it have the actual soundproofing kind of fabric to go in?
Yeah, it did.
So I mean, it was totally transitioning to allow you or Chuck and whoever was going to come record with him to record songs.
Yes.
And in that house, did Chuck have his own bedroom separate from Lisa?
That I don't know. I know that he had multiple bedrooms, but I will say it did look kind of, the whole place kind of looked like a bachelor pad, pretty much.
And then ultimately, in October, if we start talking about October of 2020, you, I understand you took a trip with Chuck that first week in October, is that right?
Correct.
You guys go to Arkansas. Was it on? It was on this Friday, October 2nd, 2020.
I think it was Saturday. Was it? Yeah, it was Friday because the show was on Saturday and we came back Sunday.
Okay, so you guys take off on a Friday. You're going to Camden, Arkansas. Is that right?
Yes.
What's the plan when you get there? You got a show. What's the plan for the show?
We got a show with an artist, well-known artist. So we just going to, I guess when we first went there, we checked out the club, talked to the owner, and just check out the space. We picked the section where we'll be at, and yeah, it's kind of.
Who all went on this trip?
It was me, Dykes, Chuck, of course, Jordan, and Brian, and also Lisa and Nina.
How'd you all get there?
We was in a Sprinter van, and they followed behind us.
They being
Lisa and Nina, they drove together.
They drove separately.
Yes.
And you recall who was driving their car?
I want to say Lisa, but I can't really confirm who was really driving.
How long was that drive?
I think it's like 4 to 5 hours.
And y'all get there on Friday night, show Saturday. Is Lisa coming around with you guys kind of where you're going?
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys go to the show that it's in the evening.
It was on Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night.
And how'd the show go?
The show went pretty well. I think Chuck's performance wasn't that good in the beginning. Maybe he was nervous, didn't really practice, I guess, or something. And then our song came on, the crowd kind of reacted. He got into it a little more.
And he performed one song kind of solo, and then the two of you performed a song together.
Right.
And that was it. So basically, 2 songs set for Chuck, 1 song set for you.
Yeah.
And then there's a headline act that was going to perform after you guys.
Correct.
Maxi.
And while you guys are out that evening for the track concert, Lisa Dykes.
Thank you, Maxi.
You mean out and about or?
Welcome, Donna T. Just became a member. Maxi, Taxi. Simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Thank you, Maxi. Appreciate you as always, my darling.
At the club.
At the club, yeah, she was there.
Was she drinking that night?
I can't recall.
Were you drinking that night?
I had a few drinks.
Nothing crazy though?
Nothing crazy. Just a social drink every now and then.
And after the show, where do you guys go?
We went back to the hotel, all kind of just chill, hung out, and that was it. I think one of Dak's friends pulled up on us. We talked to him for a little bit. Yeah.
And where were you guys staying? You had a hotel?
Yeah, we was at a hotel.
How many rooms?
So it was 2 rooms, and then they had a suite that was downstairs for Lisa and Nina.
Lisa and Nina had their own suite, and then you and the guys got 2 rooms to split.
2 rooms, correct.
Okay. Where was Chuck supposed to stay?
That it really wasn't. I don't guess it wasn't really mentioned what he was saying.
Where was Chuck hanging out that night?
He was hanging with us. Then he did go to the one with Lisa and Nina, and he did come back.
How did that come about and go to the room with Lisa and Nina?
So we was outside talking, just casual conversation, and Nina, she walked up. She had the excuse me. She had the door key with like a note on it. She gave it to Chuck, and of course, me and Dex, we kind of cracked jokes like, "Yeah, go pay for the trip, man." Something to that.
So that was the understanding, was Chuck needed to go.
Yeah, go pay that. Basically, kind of how we joked around.
Because the trip was funded by Lisa and Nina.
Correct.
That next day, that Sunday, October 4th, y'all drove back.
Yes, we drove back.
And where did you go? You went to the Mesquite House?
Yeah, we got to Lisa them house and got our bags. Dax and Chuck was saying, "Hey man, we going to Deep Ellum to celebrate." And I'm like, "Man, I need to go home, go to sleep. I'm finna go home and go to sleep. I'm not hanging with y'all tonight."
Is that what you did?
That's exactly what I did.
Okay, so you went home, you go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You're aware that Chuck and Dax go out though.
I didn't know, like, they didn't call me like, "Hey, we going out," but that was their plan. Yeah.
So you knew that was gonna be the plan, but you're like, I'm not
Yeah, I'm going to sleep. Yeah, I went to sleep.
When's the next time you see Chuck?
It was the next day. I actually was working, and he, I guess him and Dax was probably already hanging out. And I stepped outside, talked to him, and Dax was like, "Yo, guess where he met a girl from?" I was like, "From where?" And he said Seattle. And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And the reason why he brought that up is because he had an ex-girl from Seattle.
Okay. And so you guys talked about the fact that he met a girl from Seattle the night before.
Yes.
Did you guys talk about what he did with that girl?
Well, I asked him, I said, "Yes, what y'all do? You take her to the hotel?" Because being that she was out of town, I was thinking that maybe he would take her to the hotel. And he just said, "Oh, no, we just messed around in the car, got some mixes, and I dropped off in Deep Ellum."
So he thought you dropped her off in Deep Ellum.
Right.
And that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah, that was it.
Was that in the norm for what you knew, Chuck?
To meet a girl, yeah.
And to find some girl out and about Deep Ellum and to go have some kind of relationship and be, move on.
I wouldn't say that it's like the norm, like it happened every day, but you meet people.
Just not out of character.
It's not out of character, yes.
So there was nothing to press on about that. It was okay.
No, it wasn't like a celebration moment, like you go or nothing like that. No.
And did y'all hang out that day, or was that just kind of a quick passing while you're at work?
We hung out. Well, when I got off of work, we all kind of hung out. I think we hung out every single day. I think that week, yeah, for maybe 4 days.
How was that going?
Just a lot of partying, going out, stuff like that. Yeah.
And Chuck drove the Audi, is that right? The black Audi? Prior to all this?
Yeah, he would switch cars here and there. And he also switched cars with other people.
Okay. And that week of October 5th, did he switch cars to another car?
Yeah, the white SUV.
Do you see Chuck again? So sometime that week, when's the last time you seen him? Do you remember?
I can't recall. But I know it was the end of the week.
End of the week?
Because that Friday is when the I think it was like a video or picture image that popped up of him saying that missing girl from Seattle with a guy that was in a black Audi.
Okay. So sometime around this Saturday, Sunday, that weekend after the fact, you're saying you start to hear that girl from Seattle is missing?
Well, actually, before that, I would say, so like Monday was be the day that he kind of came over. We kicked it Monday, Tuesday. I would say Wednesday is the first time I actually heard about the girl. It's because, so being that I worked in a building, the FBI was on the same floor that Dax lived on. And so I called Dax like, yo, when I got to work, I found out. So I called him like, yo, did you hear the FBI on your floor? And Dax, he were panicky, like, so he like, what? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me send you something. I'm like, okay, cool. So he sent me the flyer that said a missing girl from Seattle. And I was like, nah, which it instantly registered with me because he just said he was with a girl from Seattle. So I messaged Chuck on Snapchat and was like, yo, and he was like, who is this? And I said, missing girl from Seattle. And he like, what dates? And I'm like, bro, days was with a girl from Seattle. And he was like, nah, that's not her.
That was the end of that conversation?
Yeah, because I'm not finna. If
Right.
I'm on the phone
So-
with Dax and he's telling me that I wasn't good. Yes, that was the end of the conversation because I didn't want to keep questioning when someone told me that was the girl.
And was that your last conversation with Chuck?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So if you hung out kind of that entire week, that conversation may have happened then after that Friday.
I want to say, yeah, something like that.
And y'all never talk again. In fact, police eventually come and try and talk to you as well. And they do talk.
Yeah, after a few weeks. It was really mostly, I guess, yeah, after a few weeks, it was because I guess the pictures that Chuck had posted the day after, which would be the Monday from the show that we had, a lot of people on the internet were speculating that I was with him or I was hiding or something like that.
So you're clearly in Chuck's social media at some point, and so people were wondering about you.
Yeah. So,
After that exchange with Chuck that you had, where you're like, "Hey, that girl from Seattle's missing," he's like, "Not her." Did his social media keep up, or did it go dead for a period of time?
I think for a few days it did, or maybe a few weeks. He wasn't really posting, and it's kind of like out of nowhere he just started posting a lot.
So he took kind of a break from social media,
Mhm.
silent, and then you say he starts posting a lot. What kind of things was he posting once he started posting?
A lot of old videos. Most of them I was with him in some of the videos, so I know for a fact it was old. One of them I actually was like standing, so everybody really thought I was him, and everyone's calling me and Dykes like, "Oh, he's with him. I need to turn him in." And I'm like, "These are old videos."
And did you even have his cell phone number, or how would you guys communicate?
So we really cool kind of when the pandemic hit. We never really conversated on the phone, anything like that. We had, so mostly that's how we conversated through Snapchat.
That's all you communicate with Snapchat.
Right, because it's mostly I see you at the club kind of, or he'll come over.
Pass this.
Cross-examination.
Okay, so what you're telling members of the jury is that during this time period after Marisela goes missing, posting on social media, maybe people think he's with you, right?
It looked at that way.
On the videos, right?
Yes,
The videos that he's posting makes it look like he's in Dallas, doesn't it?
yes,
And he's with you, right?
yes,
And people are saying, somebody contact Freddie and tell him he need to turn Chuck in, right?
yes,
Correct?
correct.
And as far as your relationship with Charles Beltran, at no time did he ever indicate to you that Lisa was jealous of his womanizing, did he?
No,
And in fact, when she approached you, trying to entice you,
Mhm.
I think you said that she said you can have whatever you want, she saw your vision, right?
yes,
So first she wanted to invest in you as a rapper, right?
not as a rapper, just invest in me.
Well, what was your vision?
I don't know, you have to ask her.
Correct. Well, would you be surprised when she said she wanted to invest in you because of your business? She's talking about your ability to rap. You're a much better rapper than Chuck, wasn't
That's debatable.
you? Okay. So the rap song that you had with Chuck was the Straight on Sight?
Not at all.
What rap
The song
Chuck
we had was called Spin the Block, but I didn't release the song.
Spin the Block. What is Spin the Block?
So it's basically just talking about lifestyle, you
Like
know,
what?
women, money, cars.
For example, tell them to the jury what Spin the Block, this rap song that you and Chuck had. What is it? Give me.
I can't really recall it. It was a couple years ago. I didn't release the song. Okay?
You don't listen.
I would have to actually like,
It was so bad you don't remember 12 bars?
nah, I don't really remember. It's a blank at the moment.
You don't remember? Are you embarrassed to tell members of the jury the type of nonsense that y'all talking about women?
Definitely not about women. I'm a respectful man, so anybody I hang with is respectful as well.
Well, spin the bars. Is it talking about threatening people?
It's Spin the Block.
Spin the block.
It's more just lifestyle, cars, jewelry, women, clothes, things that you get inside of a hip hop song.
All right, let's move on. I'm just messing with you, Mr.
No, that's fine. You get it.
You're not on trial, so.
Of course.
But what I do want to talk to you about is your relationship with Chuck during this time period, right?
Mhm.
Because I mean, you weren't like involved in some strange entanglement with Ms. Dykes, right?
Right.
And as far as I think you said that Ms. Dykes paid for the trip to Arkansas, right?
Right,
She paid for, what would have been your Audi, right?
right.
Or could have been your Audi.
Could have been my Audi.
But you're not telling members of the jury that she wasn't investing in Chuck's rap career, are you?
That I don't know.
Well, who paid for the studio that you would go to?
It's the house that he lived in.
But who paid for the studio? You know,
She
Ms.
paid
Dykes
for it.
it.
Yeah.
He didn't have it.
She
he
paid
didn't
for
have-
everything.
Correct. He didn't have that studio before.
Right. He didn't have the Audi before.
Right. So she paid.
She paid for everything, but it wasn't a
Was he using it for his rap career?
what the Audi or the studio.
The studio.
Yeah, he was recording music.
And the truth of the matter is he used the Audi too, didn't
He did. Yeah,
he? In
music
the video, remember?
I remember.
The
that.
video that's recorded at their house
Correct.
with the strippers, right?
Correct.
At her house.
I don't know if they strippers, but correct.
Well, young ladies,
They dance like that these days.
that won't be on.
Yes.
Let's go, Judge.
Yeah.
Got some scissors. Let me show you what's marked as defense exhibit number 4. Because this appeared to be Charles Beltran, George's Chuck 5050, the person we're talking about.
Yes.
And does that appear to be, I guess, when he was making a video at Ms. Dykes' house?
Yes.
Will this assist you in testifying to, I guess, what these girls look like?
What about?
I mean, the girls that are on the video appear on defense exhibit number 4, don't they? Do you remember the video?
Yes, I remember the video.
Okay, does that not appear to be the young ladies that were on that video?
They don't look like strippers.
That's not my question. Does that
So what is
not
the question?
appear?
Yes, that's them.
Okay, Judge Oliver was marked as defense 4.
Attorney objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Permission to publish, Judge.
All right, defense exhibit number 4 is admitted for all purposes.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
You may.
And this is Chuck in a video. This would actually be Ms. Dykes' home, correct?
Correct.
You know, because you've been there, right?
Yes.
All right, and this is when he's making a video, right?
Yes.
Was this the Picture Me This video?
Yes.
All right, and when we talk about the young ladies that were in that video, these are just a couple of the young ladies that were in the video, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Also wanted to ask you about, you and Chuck are friends, right?
Yes.
and you asked him about, when the FBI came up to you, actually, they caught you off guard, didn't
Yes, they did.
they? Scared you, didn't
Yeah, they popped out like ghosts. Yeah, they did.
they? And, but again, you cooperated, you didn't try to
course.
run, nothing like that, you talked to them,
Yes,
right? Even though at that time you felt like people were giving an illusion that you knew what Chuck was,
right.
but you didn't, did you?
I did.
You had no contact with him after, I guess, what you told members of the jury.
Yes.
As far as his interaction with the girl from Seattle, because you didn't know her name, right?
I didn't know that. No.
But the girl from Seattle, have you ever even seen her?
I seen the flyer,
Okay, you saw the plot, but you didn't see her that night like that, right?
and I was at home.
But the girl from Seattle, he didn't say anything to you about anything unusual happening that night, other than them having sex in his car.
I came.
Correct.
And then he dropped her off in Deep Ellum.
Correct.
Didn't say anything about Miss Dykes being jealous and hurt, did he?
No, he didn't.
He didn't say anything about her being hurt, period.
No, he didn't.
Or him knowing about her being hurt.
Correct.
And in fact, when you ask him, when you say, hey man, they got this girl from Seattle on this poster, you text him a picture of the poster, didn't you?
Correct.
Right, Coach Judge?
Okay.
The girl you text him a picture of, I mean, it was this girl, right?
Yes.
And he said he didn't know nothing about it, didn't he?
Correct.
But whether or not he was lying, you don't know, right?
I don't know.
I mean, and you don't know whether he was lying, right?
I don't know if he's lying. No.
But you can't tell when he's lying to you,
I think I'm a good judge of character.
but you don't know whether he's lying, do you?
I don't know at that moment. No.
And you know him pretty well, don't you?
I do.
But when he's lying, you have no idea, do you?
Correct.
And you know him. You spend time with him.
Yes.
As far as who drove to Arkansas, you say you think it was Miss Dykes, but you don't know because you weren't in the car with him, were you?
Correct.
I did want to also ask you about some of the things that you told whether it was the police or the FBI. You talked about Chuck using ecstasy. Remember that?
Yeah. I recall that.
You don't remember?
I don't recall, but I do know he do use ecstasy time to time.
You don't remember telling the police that one time you had to take him home because he had used so much ecstasy?
No, I never said that.
You never said that.
I never said that. Or did I recall?
That you recall.
I did drive him home one time, yeah. But I don't remember telling the FBI that.
Okay, from him using too much ecstasy, right?
Correct. I took him home because he used too much ecstasy.
Okay.
But I never sat with a police department officer or FBI and told them. I was only approached one time and it was outside of my building.
Hold on.
All right.
Let me ask you. I'll clarify for you.
Okay.
What is ecstasy?
It's a drug, a stimulant, I would say.
Like methamphetamine?
Yeah.
So when you talk, what you told the police about Chuck's ecstasy use, you don't recall, right?
I don't recall.
Okay, that's fair.
Hey, Jonathan.
Oh, you were referring to Miss Dykes as Chuck's sugar mama, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's sugar mamas, that's sugar daddies, right?
Correct.
I mean, you got some older women that take care of younger men, right?
Correct.
You got some older men that take care of younger women, right?
Correct.
That's their prerogative to do that, right?
Correct.
But as far as all these women that Chuck was around, you ever see Miss Dykes act jealous about him being around other women?
Not at all.
And in the studio, lounge room, that was at her home, it wouldn't be unusual for Chuck to bring a lot of people, different people over there, would it?
Not at all.
Guys, girls,
Correct.
it was a studio.
Correct.
I mean, just if you know, it wouldn't be unusual for him to have sex with women at that house, would it?
Correct.
Did you know Carmen?
Correct.
Now, Carmen went at that house, was
I don't think she ever came to the house.
that was another apartment he had, right?
I don't know about. I think she had an apartment.
Where he stayed, right, with Carmen,
Correct.
and whoever else was there, right?
Correct.
Because Chuck was a ladies' man, right?
It's debatable. Yeah.
Well, he thought he was, didn't
Yeah, correct.
Would you say he's a womanizer?
I don't think he is.
You didn't think he's a womanizer?
Not at all.
Manipulate women?
Not at
To get
all.
what he wants?
I never seen him do it.
You never seen him do
Not at all. It's they want to give it to him, then he receives it.
it? Okay. Kind of like a pimp, huh?
I wouldn't say that. A pimp is, you know the definition of a pimp.
Yeah.
Women selling their body, they giving him money. I don't think that what the case was.
So, Chuck went
But
along
gifts, I would say gifts.
with it. A lot of gifts from different women.
Correct.
Couple of baby mamas,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
But he's not a womanizer, right?
I never seen him be a womanizer. Super respectful to ladies. I always approach them with respect.
As long as they're giving him what he wants, right?
I mean, that's debatable.
As far as Chuck, I know you said you never spoke with him after a certain point, right?
Correct.
But any doubt in your mind that he knew that these people were looking for this girl from Seattle?
Was it? Can you repeat the question?
No, that's right. Don't worry about it. Let me ask you. Well, I want to ask you about that. You said he had to pay for the trip.
I agree, Chris, I agree.
Gives him the key.
Yes.
And you referred to it, you and Dax were laughing like, go pay for the trip, right?
Right.
Okay, so he was going back to the room with both of them, right?
Yes.
So in your presence, did Lisa or Nina ever appear jealous of each other?
Not at all.
So just for hands, because I like hands, what are you thinking about this trial? Option one is I like it. Option two is I can't wait for it to finish. And option three is I'm giving up on it.
They knew Chuck liked women,
Yes.
liked to have sex with women.
I don't know those details, but I know he liked women.
Okay, was Chuck loyal to any woman, in your opinion?
Yep.
Loyal in regards to what way?
He was with him. I mean, if it was understood, it was understood. Loyalty is, it's all on what they aspect of loyalty is. And was he faithful? No.
Okay.
But loyal? Yeah, because he was with him.
Okay. So in your opinion, it wouldn't have been cheating. He wouldn't have been cheating on Lisa because they would have had understanding.
Correct.
She knew he had other women.
From my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even brought other women out to their house in Mesquite, right?
Yes.
After texting Chuck 50-50, sending him this picture of the missing girl from Seattle, did you ever talk to him again?
I didn't.
And all you know is he told you he dropped her off in Deep Ellum.
Yes.
That's what, thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, may this witness be found excused? Any objections in the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, sir, you are clear
All
to
right,
you
thank
about your business. Please watch.
House for crime scene unit.
How long have you been doing that?
I've worked for crime scene for 13 years. I've been on the police department for 22 years.
And is there any special training that you have to go through to become a crime scene technician with the Dallas Police Department?
To be a detective, you gotta go through a 4-week class to train how to take fingerprints, use your camera, use the chemicals that you use to lift prints or get possible evidence. You make sure that you can use gloves and you handle everything properly so you don't cross-contaminate any evidence. And after you're done with the 4-week class of training, you do 10 weeks of training with a field trainer to show you how to do the calls out in the field. And once you have accomplished that, then you get to go out and answer calls on your own.
And you said that you have been doing crime scene for 13 years. Is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Okay. Tell the jury kind of what some of your duties are as a detective that goes out to crime scenes.
Well, we wait for the calls to come in. When we get called, we go out to homicides, sexual assaults, robberies, assaults, any crime against a person that can physically harm them. When we get called out to these things, we kind of get the layout of what happened from the officers at the location. We photograph what we see when we get there. Then if we have anything to collect, we'll put placards out. We will retake all these photos with placards that are put out to identify which items go with which number. We will collect them. There's any DNA to collect, we will collect that. We're wearing gloves through this whole process. And the very last thing we would do is take fingerprints if we're looking for fingerprints.
Now, I addressed you as detective, but you are not the lead detective on this case, correct?
Correct,
And you're not the investigating detective on this case.
correct.
Who is it, Detective Rosenberg, that kind of decides what items to collect, places to swab for DNA and things like that at a crime scene?
Depends on which unit, because I believe it was missing persons that I was first called out on. So the detective in missing persons was in charge of this at first.
And so you get some information about kind of, the investigation and what's going on, and then when you go in, you take photographs of various things, looking for pieces of evidence, collect them, and then what happens to that evidence?
Once I collect the evidence, I will send it off to either the property room, to and that's just the store, or SWIS, which is Southwest Forensics of Science, to test for DNA, or if we got fire cartridges, we send them to NIBIN to be tested for ballistics.
Did you have the occasion to go out to an address of 3113 Kensington Drive in Mesquite, Texas on October 31st, 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that in response to?
I'm missing persons.
Okay, and did the detective on the case at that time, did they obtained a search warrant to search that residence?
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess your job was to collect items in that home in response to that search warrant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you entered that home, first of all, how did you enter?
The door had already been forced open.
And who had forced that door open?
I do not know who forced it open.
Okay. Was there I guess a fugitive unit or a unit of accompanying officers that came with you to kind of seal the perimeter of that house to make sure this process was done without any interference?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you weren't there when that door was kicked open?
No, ma'am.
So you have no idea if it was one of those officers?
Correct.
Besides those officers, who else was out there at the scene, if you recall?
I know Detective Dolby was out there for missing persons, and then there's several fugitive officers out there, and a few sergeants, and that's about all I can remember.
And the fugitive officers that we're talking about are those that were there to just kind of make sure that there wasn't any interference.
Correct.
Were you all aware at that time that the house was still occupied?
No, ma'am, I had no idea.
Is that the purpose of the fugitive unit?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, upon entering the house, what did you notice about the house?
There wasn't much furniture in the house. It looked like they were in the middle of moving. And in one of the bedrooms, the master bedroom, the ceiling had caved in.
And what time of day was it that you?
This is during the day, since I work days in the department.
Do you recall how many bedrooms were in this home?
I believe there was 3.
3 bedrooms? And like a living room area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kitchen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, typical layout?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the garage, I guess, was it accessible through an alleyway or through the front of the house, or from the front of the house?
The alleyway.
And the front door, is that just accessible from the sidewalk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you're gonna park in the driveway or in the garage, you have to drive down the alleyway and enter the driveway garage that way.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take photographs of each of the rooms in the home?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you do that? What was the purpose of that?
When we get to the location and it is search warrant, we photograph the entire home to get the layout of the home and what we see when we get there.
My first witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Is it fair to say you take several photos?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm handing you what's been marked states exhibit 92 through 178. Let me flip through those and just look at each of those photographs. accurate representation of the home in the condition it was when you photographed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Your Honor, State Operator states exhibits 92 through 178 for all purposes.
David previously attended.
All right. States, excuse me, states exhibits 92 through 178 are admitted for all purposes.
Commissioner publish, Your Honor. Inspector Rosenberg, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each photograph, but I just want the jury to be able to get kind of a general idea of kind of the contents of the home. States 193, that's the front of the home.
Yes, ma'am.
States 94, the garage area.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a placard there of a 4, and is that just indicative of something that you were going to collect?
Yes, ma'am.
At that time when you collected, do you have any idea if it's evidence or not?
No, ma'am.
States 95, the picture of one of the kind of maybe dining areas of the home?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your equipment there?
No, ma'am. That is at the house.
Okay, does that appear to be a mattress up against the side?
Yes, ma'am.
Ironing board, iron.
Yes, ma'am.
96 is that placard again. 97 is an up close to that earring. 98, can you recall what room of the house this is in?
This is the guest bathroom.
Okay, and it's kind of dark right there. We didn't talk about this, but what is one of the tools that you use in determining whether or not you need to swab for DNA specifically in an area?
We have a chemical called Blue Star, where you have to have the room or area completely dark, and you spray this chemical on it, and if it hits blood, it will illuminate blue to where you can identify, or not identify, but see where the possible blood could be. Because
Your Honor, may I first witness?
May.
Detective Hanning also has been marked as State's Exhibit 179. Is that do you recognize the layout there?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that an accurate representation of what it appears to be?
Yes, ma'am.
State Officer 179 for all purposes, 10 minutes.
No objection, Your Honor. It's been previously attended, Judge.
All right, states exhibit 179 is admitted for all purposes.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I want, this was in a guest bathroom, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's just take a look at States 179. This is kind of the layout of that Kensington home. And can you point on that screen? I guess the screen's not working. The guest bathroom that we're talking about, is it, can you point up there on that TV?
That one right there.
Okay, it's kind of connected to the bedroom right there. Or right outside that bedroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In this instance, it's during the day, so are you able to at least shut off that bedroom to get enough darkness to use, is it luminol?
It's Blue Star.
Blue Star.
It is the bathroom, not a bedroom.
And is that kind of what we see right there on the, I guess, door frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something that you wouldn't have swabbed in
Yes, ma'am.
DNA? Okay. States 99, is that same bathroom?
Yes, ma'am.
States 100, well, it's terrible on this. Your Honor, if we could get the lights on, I think that might be clearer for the jury. Maybe.
You can see a little bit of it.
The picture itself is kind of dark. Is this area that we're talking? And where else? I'm sorry. Right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I may just have better luck just showing the jury instead of having the lights out. I thought that would help. Let's see. States 101, is this the same bathtub?
Yes, ma'am. This is a better photo.
Okay. And it appears that Blue Star reacted there.
Yes, ma'am.
States 102, same bathtub?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Sometimes you got to take a lot of photos to capture what you're trying to see with Blue Star.
And you're trying to make sure that the jury gets to see the same, or investigators get to see the same thing that you see in person?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. it's kind of unclear, but there looks to be a reaction to Blue Star there. Do you recall what this is a picture of?
I believe it's the door.
Okay. And then it states 104.
Yeah, it's right there, by the door handle, right underneath it.
Okay. States 105. Is that, I could not tell if states 105, is that a glare from the tile or is that the Blue Star reaction?
That's gonna be Blue Star reaction.
Okay. And do you recall what area that reaction came
No,
from?
ma'am, and that's why I say sometimes you gotta take continuous photos to try to get what you actually take a photo
States
of.
106. Is that same tile floor but in the light?
Yes, ma'am.
States 107. Do you recall what bathroom that is?
That's still the guest bathroom.
Okay. States 108. Is that the Blue Star that reacted to the guest bathroom?
Yes, ma'am.
States 109.
That's just a bad picture of the one from before.
Okay. States 110.
That's the other sink in the bathroom.
And the same guest bathroom?
Yes, ma'am.
States 111. Is this where they had to kind of kick in the door or break that door frame to get in?
Yes, ma'am.
States 112. We already saw a picture similar. States 113. Does that just appear to be another area, the kind of common area of the home?
Yes, ma'am, and that's also on the floor right there is from the door
Okay.
being forced open.
States 114. Also a common area.
Yes, ma'am.
States 115. There's some more things left there in that common area.
Yes, ma'am.
116, 117, states 118. I think that may be an identical photo.
Yeah, I'm just doing a 360 around the rooms to show what the rooms like.
States 119, 120. Is that going out to the garage?
Yes, ma'am.
States 121. Is that a photograph of the kitchen?
Yes, ma'am.
And I mean, as you can tell, there's a lot of items left out on the countertops.
Yes, ma'am.
States 122. Same kitchen, the trash can's full. States 123, that's just a picture of the stove and more items out.
Yes, ma'am.
States 124, is that just another shot into where that mattress was kind of leaned up against the wall?
That's shown from the kitchen going out to the front door.
And does this states 125 appear to be the laundry room area?
Yes, ma'am.
It's clear there's no washer and dryer, but at some point there appears there would have been a washer and dryer there.
Yes, ma'am.
States 126, cabinets in the laundry room. 127, does that appear to be kind of going into where the pantry is?
Yes, ma'am. It's the back side of that laundry room.
Okay. 128, picture of the pantry and left behind items.
Yes, ma'am.
States 129, additional picture of the pantry, just the top part.
Yes, ma'am.
States 130, that's kind of some
It's the water heater.
water heater and things, Kroger bags and things left out. States 131, also the kitchen. So it states 132. States 133, that's the garage area, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can see some, it looks like a gas can maybe and some other items there in the corner.
Yes, ma'am.
States 134, various items on the shelves. States 135, that's also the garage area.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we're moving back into the house. States 136, what does that say? Can you tell?
It looks like math to me, but
Math. Okay. Lots of debris and things on the floor, chips, knocked over stool, futon in the corner. States 137, appears to be, desk in that corner, a Rick and Morty poster. Are you familiar with Rick and Morty?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Space Jam, Wonder Woman posters. States 138. States 139. Does that appear to be, I guess, some foam material kind of in that closet?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with that material being used to create kind of a sound, I don't know, barrier?
Yes, ma'am. It's kind of like soundproof. Try to.
Sound, thank you. Move escaped me. So it appears to be that if there was a studio in that home, that would
Yes,
be
ma'am.
141 the same.
Yes, ma'am.
142, that appears to be like a utility closet.
Yes, ma'am.
143, maybe a hall closet with some things left.
Correct.
Says 144, is that just kind of a picture of the carpet area of the bedroom?
That is the far bedroom in the corner of the house.
Okay, and I'm looking at the says 179, the layout. Is it this bedroom or this bedroom?
It's that bedroom.
I'm sorry, which one?
The window photograph that.
This one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these photographs, states 144 is that corner bedroom. States 145, is that same bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can you tell what that is on the carpet?
No, ma'am.
States 146,
It's just a 360 photo going through the whole bedroom.
okay. States 147, same bedroom.
Yes, ma'am.
148, is that starting to be up close at that closet where things were left?
Yes, ma'am.
Same with 149.
Correct.
States 150, is that same closet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and there's some various candles, looks like Santa Muerta type of candles and things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
States 151, is that hall, that bathroom? that's-
You got a guest bathroom, yes, ma'am.
Okay. States 152, same bathroom.
Yes, ma'am.
153, that looks like that's going out into the hallway.
Correct.
States 154, do you recall what room that was in?
I believe that's still the guest bathroom.
Okay, like a linen closet?
Yes, ma'am.
Same with states 155,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, and some various items, shampoo, Curl La La, things of that nature left in that bathroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you use Curl La La?
Oh, ma'am.
States 156 is, which bathtub is this? If you can recall.
That, I believe, is a guest bathroom.
And we have states 157, same guest bathroom. On states
No,
150.
I'm thinking
sorry.
that is the master bathroom.
Okay. States 156 is the master bathroom?
I think so, yes, ma'am.
Same with 157?
Yes, ma'am.
158. Does that appear to be, what does that appear to be?
Possible blood is some kind of stain on the bottom of the bathtub.
And this states 159, what room is this?
That is gonna be the master bedroom.
Okay. If we go back to the layout of the house, that's this one right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, that, the last, where the toilet was, that was the guest bathroom.
That was the guest
Yes.
bathroom? Okay. The one with the black shower curtain?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. 160 further, I mean, just showing other things left in that master bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Primary bedroom, I guess, is 161.
Yes, ma'am.
162, what is all this stuff right there?
That is the insulation from the ceiling. If you can see on the top of the photo, the ceiling has fallen down in the master bedroom to where all the insulation's fallen out of the ceiling.
Do you have any idea how long that had been there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's just how it was when you got there.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this the closet in the primary bathroom area?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's like a walk-in closet?
Yes, ma'am.
And same in 164.
Yes, ma'am.
165, the primary bathroom? Or can you tell from that picture?
They're not in the order I took them, so sometimes it's hard to tell. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
I'm thinking that's gonna be master though.
States 166, that's a shower curtain that
Yes, ma'am.
states 167,
That's gonna be the master bathroom.
states 168,
It's gonna be in the master bathroom.
169,
And that is in the master bathroom.
170
It's just the medicine stand in the bathroom.
in the bathroom. And states 171, you have a placard there for number 1. Is that something you collected?
Yes, ma'am. It should be a latex glove.
And 172, 173 are both those gloves.
Yes, ma'am.
174, that is the placard for the second, I guess, item that you collected.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you recall what those items were?
Should be an earring and a fingernail.
And 175, do you recall what closet states 175 was?
That is the guest bedroom with that empty room that had nothing on the carpet. That's the closet there,
Okay,
and that's gonna be a pair of panties.
okay, and that's something you collected.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we're talking, that's this bedroom.
Yes, ma'am.
The other bedroom is the one that had the map written on the wall.
Yes, ma'am.
176, Do you recall which bathtub?
That's gonna be the guest bathroom.
Okay, versus this is the master bathroom, it says 177?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and last is just the garage area of 178.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, it looks like you collected 4 different items. Did you also take some swabs when you were out there?
Yes, ma'am.
What things did you take swabs of?
It was on the guest bathroom. It was the left sink, the bathtub, the interior door, and the bathtub floor.
And once you take those swabs, you take those to Swifts,
Yes, ma'am.
deposit those in a, I guess, a safety lockbox. How does that process work?
When we gather up the DNA, we package it up at our office in headquarters at 1400 Boston Bean. When we package it up, we do the report. We have a copy of the report and attach it to the envelope. We then fill out a Swifts form and put it on the shelf and wait for someone to transport it over to Swifts to their secure lockbox.
Now, the other 4 items, what do you do with those 4 items?
I sent all of it to Swifts.
Now, you weren't aware whether people were presently living there or not, correct?
Correct.
But just based on appearances and your training and experience, I mean, you photographed thousands of homes.
Yes, ma'am.
What was your impression?
My impression, someone was leaving fast out of the house.
Now, you had the opportunity to go out on another scene that was associated with this incident. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was that?
This is in Wilmer, Texas.
Okay, and do you recall the location in Wilmer, Texas?
38 Post Oak.
What were you called out there to do?
There's an open field that had evidence in the field that we were going out to try and locate.
Okay. And when you went out there, was it just Dallas Police Department or were there some other agencies out there?
There was a lot of agencies out there.
And this was in response to finding possible human remains. Is that
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Did you take some photographs out there?
Yes, ma'am.
Before we get to those photographs, can you kind of describe to the jury? So you get out to the scene, there's several people out there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you all eventually coordinate as to how you were going to search the scene and try to get as much evidence as possible?
Yes, ma'am.
What were the conditions out there?
It was very wet in a dirt field where we had puddles of water everywhere.
And about how many people were out there?
I'd say at least 40.
40?
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess what was the process by which you all coordinated to search this area?
Because of how wet it was, we basically got about arm's length from each other and just walked straight as far as we could go, come back. If we found anything, we got a flag. We stuck the flag by the item that we found so we wouldn't lose it. And then we go and start and walk again the same direction, go straight out, come back. And then we crossed it. We looped around and we went back the same, the opposite direction, or perpendicular to how we searched it the first time to try to locate any item we could.
Did you take some photographs out there as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Detective Rosenberg and Houston, Mark States, exhibits 180 through 208. Can you flip through those photographs, please? Sorry, 180 through 208 for all purposes. Before we kind of go through these photographs, I want to just kind of.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there because obviously we've got a Krieger trial. Why is my headphones broken? We've got a Krieger trial coming up now, so you should get directed straight there now. So please come and join us for the Krieger trial. We'll be back at this once lunch break, so the Krieger trial is on. So it's about an hour left, hour and a quarter left of day 2. So with that, let's get over there. So we will see you over there. Your man, you cropped it, I know. Right, anyway, I better go over. So with that, Frida Gray Anderson, I'll see you in the cricket trail.